Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Mutant here. Today we're doing a Paladin build, a pure Paladin build for someone. And it struck me, since we're doing mods, that there's so many different things that we can do. I'm going to do 2 builds for the price of 1, which means free. One build both builds will be strength-based and charisma-based. One build could have been the Corny and Smash build. We're actually going to deviate from that. Another one's going to do something completely different. So hopefully I impress you with what you can do using Call of the Wild as well as the Eldritch Arcana Updated mods. Should have them saved level 1, power level to 20. So the first one is what I would consider a typical build. This is our Asymmer. As you can see, she starts off with a strength of 19, dex of 8, con 12, intelligence 14, wisdom 12, charisma 16. The type of Asymmer that we went with was the one that's Angelkin, +2 to strength as well as a +2 to charisma. Also gives them the ability to cast Lesser Restoration once a day free of charge. Something that's particularly useful, especially for someone that's pretending to be a cleric, which is what paladins are in my opinion. We have already picked feats, so of course spell vulnerability. I went with necromancy because again, paladin, they hate the undead, so having them be susceptible to it makes sense. So that literally gave her 2 feats for the price of 1, and because she is an Asymmer, that's all she gets at level 1. So that spell vulnerability gives her the ability to get power attack and exotic weapon proficiency. And you may wonder, why the hell would you do that when you literally have martial weapon and simple weapon proficiency already for free, as all paladins do? Well, let me tell you. So this is the one that could have been a Cornigan Smash build. I'll walk you through how you would actually do that, but by and large, the short version is you grab yourself weapon focus, you get yourself dazzling display, you get yourself power attack, you get yourself enough persuasion to unlock things like Cornigan Smash, and then of course you get Shatter defenses, and then you'd probably pick up Dreadful Carnage. Now I might be missing something in there. Definitely you'd probably want like Intimidating Prowess would be another feat to grab. So that's 7 feats right there, and you're only going to get 11 feats with our spell vulnerability trick. So that only leaves you like 4 other feats to just do whatever the hell you want with, which is nothing wrong with that. And it's a solid build. You invest all 5 points into strength, you finish with a nice 24. You get gear that gives at least strength and charisma bonuses. If you can, get con bonus as well to make yourself a little more tough. If you can, get more wisdom, so again you have more will saves and better abilities for your paladin stuff. But by and large, it's all about the strength and the charisma. You basically pump persuasion, you pump perception, and those are probably the only 2 skills that you're really going to have any kind of serious points in. And you literally be mowing stuff down left and right. You've seen this build though a billion times. That's why I'm trying to deviate from the plan. And it occurred to me that while we can still use Shatter defenses in the build, we don't necessarily need to get Cornigan Smash or even Dreadful Carnage for that matter, which by the way, you don't need Cornigan Smash to pick up Dreadful Carnage. So we could have saved a feat by going for either of those 2. The other thing though was like, well, we have spells. The spells we have aren't exactly amazing, but there's a pretty decent one called Weapon of Awe. It's a low level spell, and that spell allows you to do a +2 sacred bonus, I want to say, to damage with your weapon that you've buffed up. And it's 1 minute per caster level. By the way, you will only finish, even at the 20th Paladin, you'll be caster level 17. So you're not going to be a full quote-unquote caster. So there's that. But 17 minutes of buff is more than enough, I think, to do what you'd want to do. Now, the other thing that Weapon of Awe does is if you crit with the weapon, you actually shaken the target for 1 round, and 1 round only. That's actually enough for us if we hit them with a follow-up attack to use Shatter defenses. Another feat that we're going to get, which is similar to the Cornigan Smash build. Matter of fact, is what makes the Cornigan Smash build so powerful. Cornigan Smash intimidates them, makes them shaken, and then Shatter defenses, if the target is shaken, frightened, or panicked, now they're flat-footed. So it gives you an extra chance to hit them. And that's really kind of the point here. So we're doing something along that lines for this character. Now this character over here, we're going to do something completely different, and it's kind of based on his picture, as well as the fact that there's a couple cool-ass feats that we're going to unlock. So let's actually gift him his weapon, which is a heavy flail +1. Her dueling sword +1 was a gift from her family heirloom as well. Let's actually sell this stuff off. Just to get it off our characters, so I don't have to think about it. Now, what are we going to do? Let's actually do hers first.
I do things my way.
Again, as a character that we want to talk about, we should actually first talk about, I suppose, what she has to offer. Being an Asymmer, an Angelkin specifically, but being an Asymmer, she has celestial resistances of acid, cold, and electric. damage, basically 5 points absorbed of all incoming attacks. She has a light halo that she can activate, which will give her not only a light centered on her, which doesn't do anything in this game sadly, other than light up the area, which isn't necessary, but it also gives you a +2 to saving throws against being blinded or being dazzled, and of course at least that's helpful for someone that's going to be probably the frontliner. Of course her heritage is specific to the fact that she's an angelkin, so that's literally giving her not only a +2 to strength and charisma, a +2 racial bonus on lower religion checks, which again, Paladin, kind of makes sense, and use magic device checks, something that we could invest in, but we probably aren't going to. Lesser restoration spell again once a day. That's all well and good, but also know that we get Smite Evil. That's part of your class ability that you see here. We have to pick a deity. That actually doesn't matter for this type of Paladin anyway. So generic Paladin, you just have to have a deity that's lawful, good category. Know something else though. We did have our alignment restriction. Of course, we are lawful good, as all Paladins have to be in this game. But we do have an emotional drawback that gives us 3 traits. So you get 2 traits normally in this game thanks to the Eldritch Arcana Updated mod. If you want a 3rd trait for free, you basically have to take an emotional or physique drawback. In this case, we're taking the emotion drawback and we're going to be cowardly. And you may say, that doesn't sound like a Paladin. And I would agree. But 2 things that was really appealing about this. 1, we get a movement speed. 2, at like level 3, you become immune to fear. So this -4 to saves against fear, who gives a shit? And honestly, I played a theme, so while it doesn't sound like something that would be thematic for a Paladin to be someone that's a big old scaredy cat, my attitude was this: she went to be a Paladin, and she wants to be brave, she just isn't. So she needs the deity to kind of help her out. That's why at level 3, she finally becomes immune to fear, suddenly that penalty's taken away. Now, of course, she still has her penalty to fortitude saves, and hey, that sucks, but you have to have some kind of penalty. And then that gave her 3 traits. 1 was for family heirloom. In this case, we actually went for a dueling sword. That's going to be key and important. And then we get a magic dueling sword for doing that at level 1. Campaign trait, we went for Nobleborn. We'll do the same with him. A noble family of MODDED, and the reason for that was we get lay on hands 4 more times a day, something that all Paladins would enjoy. Notice he also has a social trait. I figured, well, why is she a scaredy cat? Because she hates the undead. Her family's all about hunting the undead, and therefore she has hunter's blood, in this case persuasion. You get to pick one of 3 things. You can be persuasion, lore nature, or lore religion, and get another bonus to your class skill in that regard. And it's a class skill for you. Well, the good news was all those were class skills for her anyway. But at least she gets a +1 to her persuasion check. And again, intimidation is still important for her. But this also gives her a +1 to attacks, damage, and armor class while fighting undead. So she really is a Paladin made to fight the undead. Now, you'll notice the reason that we went for spell vulnerability to get power attack and exotic weapon proficiency was so that we could actually get training in that goddamn family heirloom with the dueling sword. And you may wonder now, why am I going dueling sword? Because longsword was there. And you can get a family heirloom in a longsword. There's plenty of longswords in the game. Matter of fact, there's very good ones. They feel like something a Paladin should have. Well, because of the spell, Weapon of Awe, the ability to crit is extremely important. So, we want a crit fishing build, something that has the highest possible crit range so that we're more likely to crit to set up that extra flat-footedness, the shaken condition where our Shatter defenses kicks in and suddenly scares the shit out of the bad guys, and we're ignoring their dodge and we're ignoring their dexterity bonuses. We're catching them basically flat-footed. So that's the reasoning for that. Sure, I could have gone Rapier, but again, while I could make a case for a Rapier, I suppose, for a Paladin, they're wearing full goddamn plate armor and they're wearing this, using this teeny tiny, very thin blade. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You want something hefty. A dueling sword, long sword, great sword, bastard sword, things of this nature all make sense. And the only one in that entire list that has one of the best crit ranges is a dueling sword. And you may say again, well, dueling swords has the crit range that a longsword has. It's a 19 and 20, yes, but there's a very good one that you can get early in the game, right around level, I'd say 11, and it has an 18, 19, 20 crit range, naturally. Not a keen weapon, so if I make it keen, or I get myself the improved critical, which would be a waste, but if you did, you would have the best crit range in the game. That's the 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's the reason that you like the dueling sword, the rapier, the kukri, I'm sure I'm missing something in there, scimitar. And again, I could have gone scimitar as well. But again, it's one of those where I want to try something new. And that's the reason for the exotic weapon. And again, I like having someone on team that's going to use those exotic weapons when they come about, because there's a lot of really decent dueling swords, in my opinion, in the game. So now let's level her up, shall we? So she's going to go Paladin all the way to 20. Skill rank wise, because she is only getting 1 free skill that way, she's also got enough intelligence that she's getting about 3, I want to say, every level. So she can actually level up religion, perception, and persuasion every time. And again, if you wanted to dip into use magic device to get that bonus, remember you do have that angelkin bonus there. It's not that necessary, and I'm not a big fan of using people that aren't really good caster types with use magic device. I mean, if her charisma was going to be better than the 16, you know, like I was investing in the charisma, bringing it up to say a 20 or a 22 or a 24, that'd be different. She's not doing that, and it doesn't even have a class skill in it. I could unlock that class skill. We're just not going to do so. So I'm going to pass. We'll probably keep to just these 3. Get our lay on hands ability, know we can do it for ourselves. As others, we can also use it to damage undead, by the way. We, of course, get our divine grace. So our charisma modifier is added to our saving throws, all 3 of our saving throws. So again, charisma is something of importance for all paladins. Keep going. 3 points again, so it's looking like this is all we're going to get. Now, what are we going to do here? Well, we do need a weapon focus in dueling sword. And you may say, why do we even care about that? And other than the fact that it's a +1 to our swing, is it really necessary? Well, we need it for Dazzling display. And while I know what you're saying, is that part of the Corny and Smash build? Yes, remember we want Dazzling display and Shatter defenses. Those 2 are still necessary, which means we have to get a weapon focus. For the mercies, I'm going to show unavailable to show you the list of them. So here's the list of all the mercies we can grab here, 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 here. We got 6 of them to take. So obviously we can't get them all, but I will take the ones that I think make the most sense for me. I don't like being fatigued, and if I can literally just walk over and boop someone on the shoulder and now you're not fatigued anymore, that's at least helpful. They're going to get fatigued very quickly right after that anyway, but at the very least, like if you got jumped in the forest and you're just fatigued but not exhausted, you could at least, you know, healing hands yourself there, and then suddenly you don't have to worry about being fatigued anymore, or at least for that fight. Notice that we have Aura of Courage. Now we're immune to fear, again, like I said, at level 3, so that fear is not a problem. Anyone around us is a fear bonus, or save against fear bonus. Of course, this only works if we're not undead, or not dead, or unconscious. We have to literally be standing up on our feet while we're doing this. Divine Health, we're immune to all diseases, including magical diseases. One of the reasons that you love being a paladin. Going. We're going to put this into strength at every opportunity. That's why we started at a 19, so we'll finish that off with a 24 by the time the build is done. Notice that we can take our ability to heal, lay on hands, and use 2 uses to actually channel positive energy AoE style to either AoE heal or AoE damage undead. Now know that we don't have selective channeling. We could take it. We are not going to, but you could take it. I'll show it to you at this level. Right here. You just need to have enough charisma and, of course, channel positive or channel negative energy. So the modder has added this to be inclusive for paladins now. So we can do this. And what does this do? This literally allows you to AoE heal the living, presumably your team, and your pets, but not the living bad guys that you're fighting. Because if you don't have selective channel, you are healing everybody. Vice versa. If you're literally doing it to damage the undead, if your teammate, like Jathel's undead, or if you have undead pets out, again, it's not selective. So of course you're damaging all undead, and that would be bad. So selective channel is the one that Tristan has, or you should get on Tristan as soon as possible. But again, you are a paladin. This is not really your forte. It's not to say you're going to be bad at it. You're just not going to have many uses of it, and we don't care enough to actually get more uses of it. So what are you going to do? Well, you'll wait till after the fight's over, and you'll heal everybody up with that. And I'm fine with that. Or again, you'll use your lay on hands ability to either specifically target specific undead, or specifically to target your teammates to heal them up one at a time. So what are we going to grab here at level 5? Well, I am going to grab that Dazzling display. And notice it had the requirement of weapon focus. Now, we do now have the ability to do, where is it at? This right here. That's Dazzling display. That's enough to intimidate everyone in a big hog and goddamn circle. And again, so we're still setting you up with the ability to do Shatter defenses, We're just not setting you up for the corner against smash where you're hitting them and setting up shatter defenses. So again, it's just a little more fiddly. And again, with spells, I think it makes a little more sense. Keep pushing those points. Now I'd like to be able to cure the diseases of my teammates, since I'm immune to disease. Now what are we going to grab here? We're not grabbing corner against smash. We are grabbing shatter defenses. Notice it had a weapon focus and dazzling display prerequisite and a BAB of 6. So 6 for us, our BAB was 6 here, but there's no way for us to get it. So this really is as soon as possible for shattered defenses. And again, so long as they are shaken, frightened, or panicked, doesn't matter how they get that way, that bad guy's flat-footed to all our attacks for that round. So as long as you keep applying that shaken condition or that frightened condition or the panic condition, we're just cutting right through them like butter. Now, keep going. More strength. Got that. More Paladin. Okay, what are we going to have here at level 9? Level 9, I am going to grab something that'll help us connect our attack. You have power attack. It's not listed up here, but it's actually something grabbed at level 1. There's a feat that they've added to the game thanks to this mod called Furious Focus. Notice this one. Furious Focus, strength, power attack, and a base attack of 1, so I could have picked this up way early. This literally allows you to take any weapon that you can wield with 2 hands, whether it's two-handed by default or one that without a shield in your offhand or another weapon in your offhand. You have the ability to choke up on it, kind of like a longsword. You can swing it two-handed or one-handed. That's what this is. So literally, with that dueling sword, which you can fight 2 hands, so no shield for you, and power attack is on, instead of suffering our power attack's penalty, you don't suffer any penalty for the very first swing in that combat round. So you can swing, let's say, 4 times, which is going to be the typical for the end of this build. So you'll get a plus 20, plus 15, plus 10, plus 5 for your swing. And for each of those, you're going to suffer thanks to the fact that you have such a high BAB. You'll have a minus 6 thanks to power attack, but a plus 12 to your damage, plus 18 if you wield it two-handed. Well, that sounds great, but I don't like swinging with a minus 6. Well, for the very first swing, you will not be. And that's the reason we wanted Furious Focus. So the sooner you grab that, honestly, the better. Again, still happy with the choices we've made to get Shatter defenses as soon as possible, but this is still a solid upgrade for you. Now from here, of course, we're grabbing our Mercy. I'm going to grab Poison, because I can still be poisoned, and I'd like to be able to cure the poison from my teammates if at all necessary. Notice we're getting more Smite Evil uses a day. I'll show you how we can actually kind of cheese that to prove to ourselves we're actually not wasting it on somebody. New spell lists. We're actually accessing level 3 spells now. Level 11. Now we get to have some fun with the fact that we are an Aesimer. Because we're an Aesimer, at level 10, whatever character kind of class you are, doesn't matter even if you multi-class, because your character level 10 or up, you can pick a feat called Wings. She has them, we should give them to her, in my opinion. Wings is extremely valuable. You get plus 3 to your dodge for melee attacks. She's clearly going to melee. And because she's flying, technically speaking, she's immune to ground-based effects like difficult terrain. So again, grease spell, web spell, stuff that's on the ground that's not doing damage, she should be straight up immune to. Skitter right across the goddamn thing. And it could be used to some great effect for her to just straight up screw over the bad guys. Notice she gets Mark of Justice. This is a way for her to share her Smite Evil with the team, the party. And by the way, neither of these Paladin builds are solo builds, just so we're clear. You are not beating this game with just this character. Going. More strength. Hit harder. More damage. You gotta love all those things. Carry more as well. From here, I'm happily going to take the ability to cure Blinded. Why Blinded? Because when you finally get to that part in the game, I'm not saying that there's a specific section, I'm just saying that there's a point in the game where you're constantly realizing that your teammates are always coming up blinded. You don't even realize that you're attacking and she's whiffing. You're like, why the hell are you missing? And you see big black purple dots swirling around her head. That's the blinded effect. She's been blinded and it's probably a permanent blindness, and until you cure it, well, she's now shooting at like a 50% penalty, which means that literally she has a 50-50 chance to hit a target even. Doesn't matter how bad their armor is, because they're basically invisible to her because she's blind, or he. I say she because it's usually Octavia that gets blinded on my team. But this is a way for now you just to walk over, touch her on the shoulder, and that shit's gone. Very, very helpful. Going Paladin. More skills. More points. From here, we're going to go for a feat that is new, something that was added by this modder, and it's in the U category. Unsanctioned Knowledge Paladin. Look at this. You need to have high intelligence. We made sure of that. And we have to have at least access to Paladin level 1 spells. What does this do for us? This gives us 4 new spells to add to our spell book. Remember, you prepare your spells every day. They are not from the Paladin's list. They are from the Bard's list, the Cleric, the Inquisitor, or the Oracle. Any choice, and you don't have to pick one and keep Bard all the time. We get 4 spells, 1 for level 1, 1 for level 2, 3, and 4. They can come from any and all of those classes. Just swap around as you need. Now when you pick it, it'll give you the choice of putting them in the book. So this is your spell list, okay? So this is our level 1 spells that we already had access to. This is the spells we didn't have access to. Look at this list. It's pretty impressive. Some of my favorites, Bane. I like Dazzling Blade, especially if you're trying to do the, what's it called? The feint where you try to disarm a foe and all that fun shit. This is a really, really solid upgrade for your character, if you so choose. Other obvious choices is auto hit damage, ear piercing scream. Gotta love that. Expeditious retreat, make you zippy for a long period of time. Nothing wrong with that. Grease, remember we just said how you have wings and now you're immune to the ground-based effects? Here you go. You can prepare 1 or 2 or 7 of those in a goddamn day and have some fun. Hideous Laughter almost always works well by the end of the game still. I would honestly go with Obscuring Mist. But you could have easily convinced me to grab something like Shield of Faith. Remember, you don't have deflection spells per se. You got 1 or 2, but they're always like, there you go, bastard, protection from evil and chaos, where they have to be evil or chaotic. Veil of Positive Energy. This is a sacred bonus to armor class. That one actually works. And here's another one, but again, this is not deflection. So that's my Shield of Faith. Now the downside with Shield of Faith for me is, 1, you're going to be capped to level 17 by the end of this build. And you see in the tooltip there, you get a maximum +5 if you're level 18 or higher. So we're not ever going to get to the +5. You'll get +4. And it's still not bad. I mean, +1, +2, +3, +4. I mean, that's all bonus. I mean, that's no minus. It's just, it feels bad when I'm not getting all of it, right? So why am I grabbing Obscuring Mist? Well, if you watch my most recent video, you find that if with a simple feat like Blind Fight, you can really make this be much less of a problem for you and your team. And this is a really good way for you to set up a poof. I'm a Ninja Batman guy coming in with my old Paladin Super Smite ability. And it's really kind of nice that you have access to that, in my opinion. Level 2 spells. Again, variety of stuff in here. Aid's a solid choice. If you want to be a Paladin that raises the dead, I don't think your deity's going to like you very much, but you can do that shit. Bladed Dash, teleport across the room. Notice this one here. You gain a circumstance bonus on your attack roll equal to your casting stat. In this case, it's going to be Charisma. Despite the name, the spell works with any melee weapon, but obviously we're working with a dueling sword, so it's a bladed dash still anyway. You would teleport, you get a nice solid bonus to your swing, and you're across the goddamn battlefield like that. Awesome spell. I like Blur for some solid protection for you. I also like Mirror Image, which is way the hell down here. So again, we got many spells that we can buff with. Heroism, another fine example. Flames of the Faithful, not my favorite, and we have ways to make our weapon on fire anyway, so I'd pass on that. Burst of Radiance is the one we're going to take. But you could have convinced me for things like Heroism. You could have convinced me for things like Mirror Image, Savage Maw, Sense Vitals even. Hell, even Silence. You could be the total Paladin that's like, shh, you're in a church, shut up. So that's a thing. But Sense Vitals could have been some sneak attack love. It doesn't last very long, and again, you're only caster level 17, so that's not going to last you many rounds. But if you really need to just put numbers on the table, baby, this is the way to do it. But notice that Burst of Radiance does something for us that none of the others did. It's auto damage, it's the auto hit, it's not teammate friendly, and it has an effect whether they make the save or not. If they fail to save, they're blinded for a limited amount of rounds, well that's awesome. And if they make their save, they take half damage, but they're also dazzled for 1 to 4 rounds. So even those little ninja motherfuckers that could reflex out of it and take no damage, they should still take the dazzle effect. Now that's not amazing, that's like a -1 to their swing, like a -1 to their perception, but at least it's something. And I hate when I cast a spell and I get no effect out of it. So this is the reason I like it. And it adds, quite frankly, some decent 5d4 burst damage to our build. You could have convinced me, though, like I said, of Savage Maw. Remember, we are trying to intimidate bad guys, and while we don't have Corrigan Smash or Dreadful Carnage, we do have A, Dazzling Display, but B, we could cast this spell on ourselves, have a nice buff, get an extra attack, and a bleed effect if we crit with it, but more than that, if we need to just straight up intimidate someone before the spell wears off, we can roar, shutting the spell off, getting rid of it, and it does an AoE intimidation check. And again, that's similar, though, to what we're doing with our Dazzling Display, so it's really kind of not necessary. The bites are nice and cool and everything like that, but pass. From there, I'm going to grab level 3. We can animate dead, pass. Channel Vigor is a solid choice. I'm not grabbing it, but I wanted you to see that you get your own personal haste spell or a bonus to your perception. Let's face it, that's the only one in this that you give a shit about. If I was playing a ranged paladin, which they do exist, they're called Divine Hunters, this would be an amazing spell to pick because of this +4 bonus to your ranged attack rolls. That's fucking awesome. That's a real nice increase for your chance to hit somebody. We have a bonus to will saves for fortitude saves. And you say, well, where's the love for reflex? Well, remember, it's up here in haste. It's only +1, but haste gives you so much more than that. So again, it's not as cool as these guys, but it does a lot more too. Notice how this one would give us a bonus to bluff and intimidation check. If I was going a Corrigan Smash build, or a Dreadful Carnage build for that matter, this would be something that I'd probably grab, simply because of the confidence buff to intimidation checks. That's a biggie. The will saves is nice too, but I really like that +6 to intimidation checks, really selling home the point that we're trying to scare the shit out of bad guys. And while this one has concentration checks, which I could give a rat's ass about, the fortitude save bonus is a nice one. And again, another +6. You gotta love stuff like that. From here, though, since we're not taking that, what else might be of use? Well, Countless Eyes lasts for a long time. You can't be flanked. That's amazing, especially for someone that's in the front ranks, because flanking usually sets up sneak attack. That's not that much of a problem then. I can do displacement. It doesn't last very long. 50% miss chance to me, though. Gotta love that for someone that's up on the front. Or how about something like Good Hope? Teammate buff for you and your team. Yes, it doesn't last long, but if you put one of these in your back pocket so that the bard doesn't have to cast it today, or like you get jumped in the forest, well, I got a Good Hope. Let me use mine up. Buff up the team, more than enough for that entire fight, and it's a solid morale bonus to attacks, saves, damage, which is rare, skill checks, and ability checks, and it even dispels the crushing despair effect if someone were to be dumb enough to cast it on you and your team. We could have grabbed haste. You could convince me that mass invigorate is something, I suppose. Keen edge is nice, but again, while I've already been schooled about how this is way better than I think, I don't need improved critical for a paladin to make my weapon a critical weapon or a high threat weapon. Keen edge will do that. Improved critical will do that, but we also have an ability as a paladin, way the hell back here. As you see here, our divine weapon bond, one of them includes the ability to make it a keen weapon. So I don't need the spell, is my point. Invisibility purge can be useful, and again, that's pretty nice. It's centered around you, so within 30 feet of you, anything invisibly becomes visible. That'd be an amazing spell. Magical Investment could be of value. Overwhelming Grief to set up sneak attack damage because they're flat-footed. Nice. Shadow Enchantment, Searing Light. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here. I would shy away from like summoning spells or like slow even for that matter. But haste is a staple. Shadow Enchantment has a lot of spells in one spell, all in one. It's very nice. Searing Light feels like a paladin burning holy into somebody. Kind of cool. But again, I'm still going to err on the side of caution and go team buff, long duration, nice buff for my swing and damage, and a bunch of other fiddly bits besides. Level 4. Again, an amazing list. Air Walk you don't really need because again you're immune to difficult terrain. You have wings already. Remember, you are a Asimir. We picked that as a feat. Aura of Doom could be useful. Look at this one. You emanate an almost palpable aura of horror. Matter of fact, let's click that one. All enemies within this spell's area or that later enter the area must make a will save to avoid becoming shaken. A successful save suppresses the effect. Creatures that leave the area and come back into it have to recheck again. Now, notice no spell resistance and literally sets up the shaken condition. Remember, that was kind of our goal here, to be so goddamn scary that Shatter Defenses kicks in and we kick their ass. Now, I'm not going to take this one. We could. I'm not going to. I'm going to take Divine Power. No, there's other stuff in here. Wrathful Weapon, we have better choices than this. You don't sing songs. Again, summons are a bad idea. Stone Skin could be useful. Shadow Conjuration could be useful. There's a lot of good stuff in here. I'm just saying. I like the one that I've picked, Divine Power, for a reason. Doesn't last long. That's not the reason. It is a luck bonus. That is the reason. And there's another reason that that's useful. I'll point out later. But it gives you a massive bonus to your attack rolls up to +5, not +6. Because you see this where it says 3 caster levels per plus, it caps out at +6. What's 6 times 3? 18. Well, guess what? We're caster level 17 by the end of the build. So you're never going to get +6, but you'll get +5. You get 17 temp HP. You'll get a full attack extra, just like you're using a speed weapon or under the effect of a haste spell, and they don't stack. And again, you get a bonus to your swing, a bonus to your damage, and your strength checks, and your strength-based skill checks, which is another way of saying athletics. That's not a bad little spell to have. Just saying. And this is one that, again, clearly came from a cleric, but a solid spell. I maintain that's a solid choice. You could convince me, though, or of Doom. Again, you know, that shaking condition, that could come in handy. But when you start getting those guys that are constantly making those will saves, and there's just nothing you can do about that, you have to rely on other stuff to make them scared. Well, how would you do that? Well, Dazzling Display is always still there in your back pocket. And, I'll show you the spell, Weapon of Awe. This is the one that if you literally crit, the target of the crit becomes shaken for 1 round with no saving throw. And that's good enough. Between that and Dazzling Display, I still think you're fine. That's why I'm passing on Aura of Doom. But again, you could convince me. And it's lasts a long time. Even if you're caster level 17, 170 minutes, that's fucking amazing. Just saying, I like Divine Power. Everybody's going to play this different, though. Going Paladin. That, and that. Nice. Paladin. That, and that. Alright, from here, level 15, what are we going to grab? Well, remember that spell that we just grabbed? We had the ability to literally summon a mist and be like super sneaky bastard. Well, we needed Blind Fight to actually be super sneaky bastard in that. And it's not amazing, I'll grant you, but it really does help because you do get advantage on those rolls. 20% miss chance, now you roll it twice. So at the very least, you got another chance to try to pass that. And it even works on 50% miss chance. So again, any kind of concealment. Very, very useful. Again, less likely to be a problem with invisible stalkers, so it helps you as well. For a Mercy, I'm going to take Cursed. I hate being cursed. So does my team. Paladin. Strength. Paladin. Paladin. Alright, now we're going to get freaky. And we're going to grab for our feats additional traits. This one here. This build will get additional traits, which means we're getting a total of 6. The other build will only get the first 3. So we've already talked about that, or I will here in a minute. So this one's going to take a physique drawback. And again, you can take whatever you want. Hedonistic doesn't make sense for a paladin, in my opinion. I don't mind Foul Brand. If you read this, evil deity basically burn something into your flesh. And you're a paladin. How could this be? Just because you're a paladin doesn't mean that there's not deities that hate your ass. Especially evil ones. So you can see how this could be happening to your paladin. You got captured. They decided to brand you. Well, what kind of penalty? Persuasion penalty? Pass. How about legs? You move slower. Also pass. Hands. It's only a penalty to trickery. We don't even do trickery. Awesome sauce. So yeah, you got a little burn mark on your hands. Big deal. That gives you 3 traits to play with. Now, what 3 traits did I want? I wanted to grab Defender of the Society. That's a combat trait. This one allows you to get a +1 to your armor if you're wearing medium or heavy armor. It's an extra little bonus. It's not amazing, but I'll take it. I wanted, I think it's the regional trait. Oh, no. It's going to be Faith trait. Fate's Favored is one. Notice this one here. Remember that spell I was just talking about, that Divine Power? And I mentioned how it's a luck bonus. Whenever you are under the effect of a luck bonus of any kind, that bonus increases by 1. Remember how we were stuck at +5? We could never get to the +6? Got you back to +6, baby. And there's another spell that you have that's called Divine Favor that Paladins did have access to. That goes from +1 to +2 to +3. It's only for attack bonuses and damage for your weapon bonus. But now we can turn that +3 into a +4 for free. Automatic. Over here, must be a race trait then. I'm looking for World Traveler. and World Traveler, and specifically Perception. You get to choose. We already picked Persuasion on something earlier. How do I know? Because Perception doesn't have a green check mark. Watch this. Boom. And that's why we did that. Really, really nice now for you to have a high Perception. Okay. Paladin. Skills. Points. Looking good, fellas. Over here, I will happily take a Mercy that removes the paralysis effect from a teammate. So as long as it's not me and the teammate gets paralyzed, here you go, buddy. Poof. You're back to being good, and you got healed at the same time and removed all these afflictions from you at the same time. Very, very nice. 19 Paladin. Last feat pick. What are we going to pick? We are going to pick Intimidating Prowess. And you may say, is this necessary? Yes, I say it is. Let me explain why. So here's Intimidating Prowess. It allows you, when you do intimidate targets, to add your strength modifier, which is baller, let's just say it, to your persuasion check, including your charisma modifier too. So you have 2 stats adding to your persuasion only for purposes of intimidation. But we don't even do Corning and Smash. We don't even do Dreadful Carnage. That's not intimidation, yes. But Dazzling Display is, remember? You perform a show of prowess as a full round action. Make a persuasion intimidation check to demoralize all foes within 30 feet. And every character, whether you pick it up or not, has the ability to intimidate one person. It's a given. It's like a feat that they give everybody for free. So again, we can do it single. We can do it AoE style. AoE style is, of course, the preferred way of doing it. And again, yeah, it takes your full action to do it, but wouldn't you want to have a bonus to it? I know I would. And that's why we're taking this. You could have convinced me of improved blind fight. You could have convinced me of extra channel for Paladin. I could get extra lay on hands. I could get Dreadful Carnage or Corning and Smash still. I could get Channel Smite. This is a new one that the modder added. As long as you have any kind of channel positive or negative energy, you can channel it into your weapon and do a retarded amount of damage to an undead with that strike. Sounds fucking baller, but it's not something I want on this build. It's something you could do, but I'm not going to do it. And there's other stuff in here. I mean, we don't have to stop there. There's a laundry list of shit that's in here that's just amazing for you. I could wield weapons in both hands. I could go literally dueling sword, just 2-weapon fighting. I'd be in a penalty because I don't have 2-weapon fighting. And you say, well, isn't this 2-weapon fighting? No, it's not. It just allows you to use your strength score instead of your dex score to be able to do 2-weapon fighting, improved 2-weapon fighting, greater 2-weapon fighting. Also, it gives you the ability to use one-handed weapons in your offhand as if they were light weapons. Well, that's what a dueling sword is. It's an offhand, or it's a one-handed weapon that's not considered a light weapon. So, if you wanted to do dueling swords, you could get this, but you'd also have to probably get rid of your additional traits and pick up 2-weapon fighting. And choppity, you could have some serious fun. But remember, when you're doing that, power attack doesn't work on those attacks while you're literally switching hand to hand like that. You don't get as much of a buff. This way, going with one sword in one hand, or with both hands, together sharing the same weapon, allows you to swing and hit hard. So I'll happily take Intimidating Prowess instead. Last level of Paladin. Skill ranks again. Last 3 points. Last point in strength, very strong. I mean, if I literally were to take one away from here, put it into this, you see that it went up, didn't go up a lot. So again, it's not worth it to me. We didn't unlock it. If you had unlocked it with a check mark, then it'd be different, because 1 point here would give you 4 points on that side. But again, I'll pass. I'll just keep it to the one. And again, you could have convinced me the same with Use Magic Vice. I mean, we have the Angelkin bonus. Charisma is going to be part of your thing, so this will be a better number, but it's nowhere near where you need it to be happy. You'd want this to be well into the 15s to 20s to really be of merit. And we just didn't want to split our attention from any of this stuff. You needed Persuasion, you needed Perception, and I figured, what the hell, why not be really good at Lore Religion? You are a Paladin after all. It makes sense. Now, we'll talk about gear for her at the very end, and we'll talk about his as well. Again, as a reminder for him, he is human, lawful good Paladin, generic Paladin. Notice his strength is not 19. Notice his dex is at a 7, not an 8. And notice that all these other stats here look basically the same as what we saw in the other guy, 12, 14, 12, and 16. So, why is it that he sucks so badly? Because as a human, you only get to have one stat that gets a +2. In this case, we went strength. With the Aesimer, they get a +2 to strength and +2 to charisma for the type of Aesimer we picked. He will not be able to get wings naturally because he's not an Aesimer, so there's already a feat that you're getting back anyway. And I said, well, based on his picture, he's using what looks like a heavy flail in a shield, which can't be right, Brother Mutant, because a heavy flail requires 2 hands. A flail, on the other hand, you could do one-handed, sure. But there's a really good heavy flail in the game, several, matter of fact, but one really good one that's going to be part of this build, and it's important for the build. So that's what we're going. Doesn't matter what deity we pick, none of them uses a heavy flail, so it didn't do me any good there. But basically for his abilities, again, spell vulnerability trick, thanks to the Eldritch Arcana mod and the Call of the Wild mod. One of them added spell vulnerability. In this case, I think we took Abjuration, just because it's the lame brain one to grab. Abjuration spells aren't usually that big of a deal, and it only also makes you susceptible to cold. It's one of the easiest ones to have to deal with, quite frankly. So we did that one, and that gave us 2 feats for the price of 1. And because he's human, he had an extra feat as well. So we got 3 feats at level 1. Weapon focus and heavy flail, obvious. Power attack, again obvious. Combat expertise, not obvious. It's why his intelligence is so high. Hers was high too, but he'll get extra skills that she won't because he's a human as well. And that combat expertise unlocks some serious potential for this build, which is part of the reason for the heavy flail. Now you'll notice that he also had an emotion drawback. In this case, we went with bitter. And you may say, well, why not just take envy? Again, same reason. Paladin shouldn't be envious. I mean, I'm sure they're human. Well, in this case, he definitely is. But it doesn't make sense to me. But being bitter because, someone screwed you over and not being healed quite as good, it's only 1 point per heal that you're losing out on. But that's okay. And I'm kind of cool with that. Kind of, means him tougher. And he's like, I'm pissed off because people suck. And now I don't heal so good. So, that's the thing. But that gives me, with that emotion drawback, gives me 3 traits to play with. So we got Nobleborn, MODDED, again, that's the one with lay on hands extra times a day. We got the equipment trait, Family Heirloom for heavy flail. Make sure you grab the heavy flail one. That's the one we want. Race trait, World Traveler. We went with Perception. So you can see that when we talk about our skills, his Perception has already got the green check mark, even though it shouldn't. It's because of that trait. Now sadly, in his build, we're not going to get additional traits, because his build is extremely tight, and he's as good as he is, or will be. There's a reason that his is spread so goddamn thin. You'll see once we get into it. So let's get into it. Paladin level 2. What are we going to pick? 4 skills. Boom, 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 boom. Now, Persuasion, you may say, oh, you're going to do the Cornigan Smash on this one? No, we're not. And I don't care about Persuasion for intimidation purposes. What I do care about Persuasion for is you are going to be a ruler. So again, you're the face of the team. Not surprising. You're also pretty. So again, we will split these around here. I don't even have to go crazy into Lore Nature. You may be wondering why I'm going into Lore Nature. You're going to see it level 3. Paladin, level 3. Skills, 3 points this time. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to make sure these 2 stay up and kind of alternate between Nature and Persuasion, Nature, Persuasion. That's just my thing. Now, why did I say level 3 was suddenly going to be important? Well, it's because we had a feat pick. And this feat pick is going to be a skill focus. That skill focus is kind of important. So go down here to skill focus. Look for Lore Nature. Pick it. Mercies, we're probably going to do the same way. If I skip around and give them in the wrong order, pardon me. I didn't write this shit down. But just know that this is suggestive of what you're seeing that is affecting the party. If you think Sickened and Shaken are better, go for that instead of Fatigued. I just know that Fatigue bothers me. Why skill-focused Nature? He doesn't look like he's a tree-hugging hippie. Yeah, I don't have to be a tree-hugging hippie to appreciate this. There is a feat that unlocks, but you need skill-focused Lore Nature to unlock it. I'll show it to you at level 5. For him, 5 points. There's no reason to put all 5 in Strength. You'll finish with the 23. That's not the worst thing ever. At least you won't get a bonus to your swing because of that 23rd point, but you will get to carry more. So there is a reason to have it being an odd number. You see Dexterity being odd though, we can totally make that go away. I'm not going to do it now. I'll wait till level 20 to do that shit. But I'm definitely working on Strength for 4 points, Dexterity for 1 point. From here, again those guys, and again those guys. Got level 1 spells now, Channeling Positive Energy, Smite abilities, extra 1 use a day, very nice. Level 5 Paladin. Now's where we get the feat that you care about. So what feat is it? Right there. The modder has added the ability for any class to get an animal ally, an animal companion. It's a sub-animal companion, 3 levels lower than you. Matter of fact, it's way lower than that even. I think I finished, it's based on your caster level, I think. So I'm caster level 17 by the end of the build. I think my pet finishes at 14. I think that's right. So that really kind of screws us. But we could take Boon Companion, which I'm not going to get those 3 levels back. It's up to you. But you got a limited list. You can only pick a leopard, a wolf, or a doggo. I'm picking a dog for no other reason than I like dogs, and quite frankly, it makes sense that your deities decided to send you a blessing in the rescue of a dog that's your boon companion, so to speak. Now, because we have a dog, and it's already a good boy and waiting for us right there, he's already ready to level up. So we need to start doing that at every opportunity. The reason that this is important, we're always going to go in perception, and we're going to go a little higher than that. But the reason we want to level him up is we want to make sure he's getting all his bonuses as soon as possible. He also gets feats. Because of those feats, we can have some serious fun. Now, notice that he started off with dodge for free. We didn't have to pick it. Level 3, I can pick something like a teamwork feat. Say we get, where is it at? Precise strike for some extra damage. I would have to have it too on my Paladin. I don't, but I could get it very soon. I could get Shake It Off. I could get a variety of other stuff. I'm definitely getting Spell Vulnerability. Also Abjuration, so the dog mimics me. Actually, I'll take that back. I'm going to go to Necromancy. Because a dog with fur being susceptible to cold doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But we'll make him susceptible to Necromantic Arts. Fine. That gives us 2 feats to play with. One of those feats is going to be Power Attack. I'm assuming you want your doggo to hit hard. So there you go. And then another one we're going to grab is... what? Toughness now? Maybe. I'm going to get Blind Fight. I know that sounds weird, but I don't like there being a penalty. And while this character doesn't have the ability to do Obscuring Mist, that doesn't mean I won't have teammates that do. And him having, the doggo, having the ability to get a re-roll back on a mischance could make or break him having some fun. Now notice that the doggo window closed. That means he's done leveling up. Scratching his butt. Alright, it's your turn. Paladin man. And every level you want to go back and check to see if doggo got a level up. Diseased. No level up, so you're still fine. Here we go, Paladin. Now, at this point, what might we grab? So it's level 7. I am going to grab a feature that the dog already had. And I know this is going to sound weird, but trust me when I say it'll make sense when I show you our weapon choices. It is called Trip. Remember, the dog has this by default, but he doesn't have the intelligence, he doesn't have combat expertise or kinetic warrior. However, with his bite, and matter of fact, all 3 of the pets that we could have picked have the ability to bite, and when they bite, they have the ability to automatically try to trip the opponent. Well, there's a neat feature with a weapon that you have that's a heavy flail that if you have a trip as an ability, you the actual Paladin, every time you hit them with the very first swing on your weapon, not the first time you hit them in a combat round, I mean the first swing, if it connects, you automatically try to trip the opponent. And all you have to do is have this feat, and of course that weapon in your hand, which of course we're going to do. So this is very nice. So now I can trip, so can doggo. That's a nice little 1-2 combo. That sound means that doggo leveled up. Sometimes that sound doesn't work though, so always check. Now, I'm going to invest 2 points of attribute scores into intelligence to get his intelligence up to a 4, so that I can invest in more than just perception. Because you always get 1 skill point at every level, guaranteed. I just don't like having stupid pets. This will allow me to unlock things like stealth, mobility, athletics, all of the above, none of the above, whatever I decide to do. But perception is always going up. Okay, my turn again. Paladin level 8. More skills, more strength. Very nice buff to our weapon. Check for Doggo. Sure enough, Doggo's ready to level up, and he's going to get another feat, like a good boy should. So, what is his feat going to be? Well, this is another interesting thing about Doggo. Because he's an animal companion and he has these feats, like we said, he could get skills, or teamwork feats, that if I have them too, which I don't yet, but Doggo has them and I have them, we're a buddy. We're a buddy cop pair, right? Where he's with me, it's like Turner and Hooch. So he's with me doing his thing, well I can do the same thing so long as we're side by side. What is one of those things? It is called Tandem Trip. You know how to work together to trip your foes. Whenever you attempt a trip combat maneuver against an enemy threatened by an ally who has this feat, you roll twice and take the better of the results. So that's Doggo every time he tries to do the little bite maneuver, which is, remember, it's a free trip ability. And then me with that goddamn weapon, the heavy flail, that automatically tries to trip on the very first swing. So, either or of us at the start of that combat round, as long as we're side by side beating up on the same dude, will have advantage on tripping. In an automatic trip attempt, no less. That, I think, is interesting. And remember, that allows us to capitalize on that. Remember, when they fall down, not only are they prone, it's easier to hit them, melee style, which is what me and Doggo do, but also they'll have to stand the fuck back up at some point unless we kill them. And when they do, guess what? Attack of opportunity. Very, very nice. Now, I need that same feat. So, at this level, you better believe I'm getting myself Tandem Trip. So we're just one level behind Doggo. We could have probably aligned that a little bit better. I don't care that we didn't. It's good enough for me that it's a one level away. And something else we're going to get, by the way, just a spoiler alert, is Greater Trip. And it's because of this here. Whenever you successfully trip an opponent, that opponent provokes attack of opportunity. You just said that, Brother Mutant. Aha. No, I said when they stand the fuck back up, they provoke attack of opportunity. This is you knock them down, attack of opportunity. That includes Doggo attacking the motherfucker. So, if me and Doggo are doing that thing, and I'm tripping them, I'll get an attack of opportunity just for tripping the son of a bitch, and so will Doggo, and so will anyone else from our team. So this is not a teamwork feat. This is just a feat that sets up that interaction. You understand? So that's a really, really nice one. We're not getting that one right now. We need to get the other one. That's the tandem trip. And it's the modder or the devs, I'm not sure who. Somebody added the ability to see who on the team actually has a specific teamwork feat. So you can actually see, oh, Doggo has this one now. That's right, I need to grab that. That's a nice little reminder. Whoever did that, I appreciate that, by the way. I'm going to grab Poisoned Immunity, or Mercy. Got to check Doggo. He's ready for his level up. Level 6. Okay. My turn. Paladin. Looking good. New set of spells. Check Doggo. No level up, so we're still fine. Paladin level 11. Alright, now I say it is time to make a decision. We have Greater Trip. I'm going to give you the last feats right now all in one shot. Show you the ones that we're going to get and why. I'm going to get Greater Trip eventually. Doesn't have to be right now. I'm also going to get, let me see where's my list, the O's. A teamwork feat called Outflank, where me and Doggo get a bonus to our swing. Instead of it being +2, it'll be +4. We're always going to be side by side. That's the fucking goal, right? We're trying not to separate. It's me and Doggo till the bitter end. So, if we're standing there side by side, instead of getting that +2 flanking bonus, we'll get a +4 flanking bonus. And I think that would be very, very nice. And again, Doggo has more feats coming, so this will be another one to grab. Don't have to grab it now, but that's 2. So I got to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got 5 picked from, so that's 2 already. 3 more to go. I'm going to grab something called Shield Focus. So when you're using a shield, you get a +1 bonus to it. And you're going to be saying, well, Brother Mutant, thought you said that heavy flails can't use shields. Because, yeah, you'd be using a two-handed weapon, and now you can't use a two-handed weapon on it anymore. Now you're lying to me. No, there's another feat that's coming up that requires shield focus. It's called Unhindering Shield. It will allow you to use a buckler, only a buckler, in your offhand, and still get the benefit of using a two-handed weapon. So that's nice. Now that's coming down the pike, and it takes 2 feats to do it. So it'd be here, so shield focus here, and then the Unhindering Shield there. So it'd be back to back, as best I could, or way the hell down here. I don't particularly care when we grab that shit, but it's definitely one on the list. So that's 2 feats for the price of 1. So shield focus I need, and then I need Unhindering Shield, and then I wanted greater trip, and then I wanted outflank. Now, having said all that, there's another feat that I want, honestly, before I get greater trip. This is nice, don't get me wrong, and being able to trip a doofus would be great. If I was convinced that I had the weapon that I'm talking about at this point, I'd probably go greater trip. Instead, I'm going to push it back to here. What am I going to grab instead? Well, remember that feat we talked about with the other guy? We really want to not have that power attack hinder us. We have a two-handed weapon. It's called Heavy Flail. And remember, the Heavy Flail we're talking about specifically had in its description with the very first hit, or first swing, I should say it that way. The very first swing in a combat round. If it connects, then we literally are going to attempt to trip the opponent. Doesn't mean we'll be succeeding, but we would like to hit. Well, again, if we have power attack on, that's a minus to our swing. Why would I want the very first swing to be at a penalty? Well, here's my penalty going away. Just for the first swing, all the subsequent swings after that are at the -2, -4, -6, whatever the hell power attack will be. By the end of the build, it'll be -6. Nothing I can do about that. Well, there's a little something I can do about that, but it's not the point. This is very, very nice for us. This really solves a lot of problems. Notice the one that's right above it too, by the way. I had toyed with this idea as well. We have everything we need. If you use an attack action to make a single melee attack at your highest base attack bonus while using power attack, and you hit an opponent, you can spend a swift action to attempt to trip combat maneuver. What does that sound like? Sounds like that freaking weapon that we were hoping to get in feat form. That's really what this is. This is exactly what that feat does. The difference on this is a toggle, and it says you make a single melee attack, not multiples. So if I were to say run and charge and swing once, pop you in the face while this toggle's running, I would try to trip you, assuming power attack is on, which of course it always is. That's cool, but that means that to set this up, I can only swing once, and that sounds bad. But again, if you trip, remember we are getting greater trip, which would again provoke an attack of opportunity. That would be a swing, hit, a trip right after, and then because of the trip right after with greater trip, we would have the ability to do attack of opportunity. So you would still get 2 hits on the motherfucker, and you got the benefit of tripping the son of a bitch as well. This is definitely appealing. I'm not getting it though. Just so you're clear that I was aware of it, I have tested it out, I wasn't a fan. That's all I'm going to say about it. Oop, that was Doggo. Sorry, Doggo. Good boy. Now, again, I can get outflanked now. If someone else on the team had outflank, I would totally get it and not feel bad about it at all. But I don't think that that's something that's worth grabbing right now for me if we're trying to pair up with me and Doggo. So I'll push it back. He's going to get all the way up to 13 before too long, so we still have multiple feats still to grab. What am I going to grab then? Well, we got, let's see, what did we grab? We had our tandem trip. Got that down. He already had dodge. I think he already has his blind fight. Could go for toughness. Let's make Doggo tough. And how tough is Doggo? It's 80 hit points to my 81 hit points. I'm cool with that. My turn. Paladin. Boom. Bam. Done. Give me, remember, 2 more points in here, 1 more point in dexterity. From here, we're going to get rid of curses. Now blind. I think that's what we did on the other character too. That's Doggo. Good boy. Level 8. Another point in intelligence. Done with intelligence. The last point, because you'll get 1 more at 12, and that's it. That'll go into con to make him even tougher. But I gave him perception, still up, and enough points to spend in mobility and stealth to be of value, or mobility and athletics, whatever you want to do. But I do like a stealthy puppy. He's a little ninja. Good boy. My turn. Paladin. Grabbing that. Going here. Having fun. Kicking ass. Taking names. It's all here. We'll grab it at 13. We already grabbed it, and I said that I was going to grab it next. Greater Trip. And I meant it. It's definitely worth it. Now again, the only thing that's left for us then is Outflank. Probably here. Then Shield Focus. Then Unhindering Shield. In that order. And that's because Doggo's going to get Outflanked soon too. I'd rather have that sooner than later. The shield bonuses are just nice things to add at the end. You'll find bucklers, just make sure to keep them on your person or in your pack. You'll use them once you get both of those feats. You have to have both to be of value. Use levels 4 spells. We don't have access to them yet. So our charisma isn't high enough. But certainly once you get charisma-based gear, which you definitely have by now, you'd be... Oops. Sorry, I want to check on Doggo. You'd have the ability to use that. Doggo, what you doing, Doggo? Getting your perception up? Good boy. Let's get that outflank now, shall we? Again, we're always going to be a little off-kilter. Dog's getting it before we do, or we're going to get it before Doggo does. I don't worry about that too much. Cool. Doggo, get another level, buddy. Nope. It's all good, because I'm getting one. And we're going to grab outflank. And again, Doggo already has it. Mercy, going to grab Cursed. That's Doggo. Hey buddy, what you got there? You got a level 10, do you? Perception, and let's unlock that athletics too. Because why not? Then, Paladin, 16. Last point in strength. Very nice. Looking good on those abilities. Just because we didn't hear a noise doesn't mean Doggo didn't level up, so always check him. Here he is, leveled up. 11. Gonna give himself another feat. We're gonna put you on you there, Doggo. I can get improved blind fight, which is here, and I can also get want to get combat reflexes, and that could be here. It's a really nice way for him to literally get those attacks of opportunities, extra ones. We're gonna be tripping people left and right when they all fucking stand the hell back up. Why not have them all get bit? You know what I'm saying? So combat reflexes is a nice upgrade, I think. Yes, it's a little late in the build, but I'm okay with that. Paladin, 17. That one, and that one. And we're going to get that shield focus right here. Very nice. Again, you're not going to use the shield now just because you have that shield focus. Check for Doggo. Point here, con. And then again, that jumps up his HP from 135 to 147. Not bad. I think I'm going to push a little more into that stealth. Paladin 18. Skill rank. Points across the board here. And we get a Paralyzed Mercy. Check Doggo. Still good. Paladin 19. Over here, I'm going to grab for my last one, Unhindering Shield. This one here allows you to use a buckler, even if you're using a two-handed weapon, and not suffer any penalties. And literally behaves like that too. It's like it doesn't exist. So, like you see here where it says, such as the swashbuckler's precise strike deed, or the weapon finesse feat, which normally requires you to have your hands empty, and your offhand empty, that buckler is actually perfectly fine. Casting spells even, Your shield hand is considered free for the purposes of casting spells, wielding two-handed weapons, which is again what Heavy Flail is, using any other abilities that require you to have a free hand or interact with your shield. So literally very, very nice for us. It required a lot of things, but I'm cool with that. There's other ones not to confuse it with, though. Let me actually point this out to you. So notice there's Shield Brace and Shielded Mage. Okay, so first Shield Brace, again, needs Shield Focus and a high BAB-ish, well, a decent BAB or a fighter level. And it literally allows you to use a two-handed weapon that came from the polearm or spears category. But instead of using a buckler, it allows you to still use your light, heavy, or tower shield if you're proficient with them. Well, we're proficient with light and heavy and bucklers. So this would have been a good one, but we're not using any of the polearms or spears. And I think Glaive falls in this category. Scythe might fall in this category too. I'm not sure on that. But if it did, that could be a viable option as well. So know that that's a thing. Shielded Mage is the other one where, again, shield focus is needed. Training in how to use a shield, of course, too. And then base attack bonus of a certain level or fighter level 1, and you just would ignore 15% of arcane spell failure coming from your shield. So again, kind of cool. But I think Unhindering Shield is better. And it literally says right here, it says for purposes of casting spells, your hand is considered free. Now, why is that important? Well, if your hand is considered free, then is there any arcane spell failure? There shouldn't be. Now, yes, I know we're not an arcane spell caster. I'm just saying that Unhindering Shield could be useful for other classes besides Paladin. That's basically my takeaway here. Just saying. Unhindering Shield. That's Doggo. Hey, buddy. Who's a good boy? Who's a good level 13 animal? You are, you filthy animal. Alright. He's almost done. 13. What are we going to grab here at this one? Improved blind fight? Probably. Yeah. Can do that thing. Make him good. And you may say, why not get him Furious Focus? He has power attack. Well, here's why. He doesn't have any two-handed hands, so he doesn't get to do two-handed weapon attacks. So there's no need for that. I haven't tested that. That should actually not work for his bite. I probably should test it, but I just don't care to. But improved blind fight is a staple. I get a solid one with anyone on the team that might do the stinking cloud, acid fog, anything that would cause that concealment that we talked about in the previous video the other day. My last level here. Alright, last point. It's going in dexterity because, again, why have an odd number when you can have evens? Got all those looking real good. Pretty good at Lore Nature. Notice that that's even better than you think because of skill focus. We're actually at a 25. We're at 25 for Lore Religion. Oh, still 24. Ah, it's Perception. Yeah, there you go. Perception's at a 25 because of World Traveler. And Persuasion is rocking still at 21. So we're doing real well, in my opinion, for someone who's leading the kingdom. And really strong, reasonably tough. You know, your con's kind of weak, but again, we really wanted that intelligence for that combat expertise stuff. Now, before we put everything in its proper place, we need to talk about spells. And we need to level up Doggo. Sorry, Doggo. I forgot you finished at 14. Here we go. And now, we can talk about spells. For the spells, for him... Well, here, let's do hers first. She was first earlier. We want to get that Obscuring Mist. We want to get that Burst of Radiance. Good Hope. Divine Power. I'm putting them in there so that we don't forget that we have those unique spells. For her, you can grab more than that. I'm just saying that you want at least one. For her, I recommend things like Bless. Avoid Bless weapon. It's not as interesting. We want Divine Favor. You definitely want Challenge Evil once or twice. If you don't want it twice, you can grab Veil of Heaven or Veil of Positive Energy. Veil of Positive Energy if you're fighting undead. Veil of Heaven if you're fighting outsiders like demons or devils, I think, fall in that category. But I do like Challenge Evil, and I do like it twice because it really does screw over that bad guy. And there's a trick associated with that one. Level 2. Got our Burst of Radiance. What else is interesting in here for me? Well, Blade Tutor and Weapon of Awe are amazing. Maybe that's a little overkill. If we get an extra spell slot, spoiler alert, we're going to get at least one. I'll get what I just showed you. 2 Blade Tutors and 2 Weapons of Awe. But I also like Righteous Vigor. Why? Righteous Vigor, you can buff anybody with this one. But literally, you get a stacking bonus for every time you basically strike an opponent. Subject gains a cumulative +1 morale bonus on attack rolls, maximum +4, and temp HP, max 20 total. If an attack misses, it resets back to 0, but you still get to keep the temp HP. And again, it lasts not very long, but that's a solid screw you, especially early levels in the game. Just saying, pretty kind of cool. Resist energy is interesting, don't get me wrong. Effortless Armor and Delay Poison are solid choices as well. We'll probably actually grab Effortless Armor for him. But for Resist Energy and Delay Poison, I'd rather you give that to a teammate. Let a Cleric proper, or Bard even for that matter, cast those spells on you. There's no reason for you to. And remember, if you have the ability to pick it, which we do, we can cast these from scrolls without use magic device. So that's not that impactful now. Level 3, I like Archon's Aura. Of course, we got our Good Hope. Greater Magic Weapon is useful. We're not going to grab it. We got it twice, by the way. Deadly Juggernaut's useful. I will grab that one twice. Eventually, I'll get another spell slot. I also like Prayer. I also like Angelic Aspect, but less so than Greater Angelic Aspect, which is right the fuck over here. So I'll pass on it for now. But Delay Poison Communal, again, same argument we just talked about. You can get it in scroll form, use it from scrolls, or give it from a teammate and let them do that shit. But I do like the Archon's Aura, because this is one where they literally are having a penalty until they make that will saving throw, or hit you. The moment that they hit you, it breaks the effect, or the moment that they make their saving throw, it negates that effect. But it's a nice, long-lasting buff, and everybody has to deal with you, basically, at that point. Because, again, penalty to attacks, saving throws, and armor for the duration of the spell, or until they actually hit you. Fuck yeah. That sounds amazing. Level 4, we have our Divine Power. Remember, there's a variety of choices. We're going to get more than these 2 spells here, but I do recommend things like Death Ward, Greater Angelic Aspect, Eagle Soul, Holy Sword, no. But I do recommend Resounding Blow or Forceful Strike. Both of those can add damage. This one will add damage to your attacks in the form of sound. Sonic damage, 1d6 per hit. This one will add just a straight up 10d4 of damage, force damage, to 1 hit and 1 hit only. Very nice. It discharges the moment you hit someone with your weapon. So it's a very similar feel to when the Magus charges up his melee touch attacks through his weapon. But this is a 1 and done. And 10d4 is, while looking impressive because it says he's at big 10, remember it's 10d4. So it's a minimum of 10, maximum of 40. But it's, force damage. It's not heavily resisted. That's another reason I like it. So that's what I would pick for her. Again, we'll re-pick more spells when we get the gear on them. For him, more of the same. I don't mind Bless. I like my Challenge Evil. I like Divine Favor. I like Divine Favor so much, matter of fact, I'd probably grab it twice. Over here, I'm going to get Blade Tutor at least twice. Love and Vault at least twice. And let's grab some Effortless Armor. I'll get Righteous Vigor before we're done. Over here, get that Archon's Aura. That sounds fine to me. I love me some Deadly Juggernaut. And I definitely want to get myself Prayer. Level 4. I'll happily take myself Eagle Soul. Forceful Strike. Oh, Death Ward. Now, we're going to instant rest just to give us our abilities back. And then we're going to talk about gear. So, if we do items, something you should know is Doggo is capable of wearing gear. Not a bunch of it. For instance, I know he's capable of wearing bracers. Okay? Doggo doesn't have the ability to wear armor. He has natural armor. But with bracers, just press A here and go search. You'll see all the bracers that are available in the game. I'm going to get Forest Knight's bracers and Charon's Touch. That's for my 2 Paladins. I have yet to decide who's getting which. I don't particularly care. But the bracers of armor class +8, that's going to Doggo. Now, flop out of here. Make sure to talk to the dragon. Why? Because we don't have any Knowledge Arcana. We need the dragon to identify our items. So, Doggo, bracers of armor 8. See the 33, 29, 15? Watch these 2 numbers go up by 8 points. Boom. Good Doggo. Now, this one here, I can give to, let's say, him. Charon's Touch allows him to do harm spell once a day. That's a solid, I think, 100 to 150, something like that, HP, where he just like melee touch attacks, walks over and go, boop, fuck you. He could use that to heal undead, but why would you want to do that? So don't use it on undead, is my point. But Greater False Life as well, twice a day. So again, he has now 3 castings of 2 spells, basically, a day, just from wearing these bracers. She is going to wear the bracers of Force Knight's bracers. And again, I don't particularly care who gets which. But this is, again, another solid choice because of the fact that once you find all the pieces and have it reconstructed, This allows you to you never become shaken. Instead, you get a bonus to attack rolls, saving throws, and skill checks for the duration that you should have been shaken. That's fucking awesome. And remember, you're immune to fear anyway, so boom, this is never going to be a problem. Why not get the bonus? But keep reading. You become frightened or confused. Instead, you start laughing. Again, you're immune to fear, so this should never kick in. But the confusion does. And confusion could be a bad thing. You hit hard enough that you might take out a team member. So laughing and laughing your ass off could be the least of your problems. But the best part here is this here. Freedom of movement. Now, you can only use it 1 minute once a day. So there is that. But if you know you're coming into a room where, shit, they're going to paralyze my ass. You know, you scum save and you're like, oh, hell. And I don't have freedom of movement. Yeah, you do. You just only got it for 1 minute. So you got like 10 rounds, baby. Make the most of it. But that's kind of nice. And I'm just saying, I kind of dig that shit. Now, again, back to Doggo. Notice we got a hat, shoulders, neck, belt. Let's do all 4 of those things for Doggo, get them out of the way. But first, we need to kind of explain how we're going to build Doggo. Instead of going item by item, I want to reset the filters, and I want to look for something specific. At will means every round I can do X, whatever X is. Shooting a beam, Star Soldier's Gauntlet. Turning into a tiger, I have to be able to wear armor. Doggo can't do that. But notice Cloak of the Chosen. Immunity to blindness and dazzle, will save bonus, the ability to cast prayer at will as a 9th level cleric. That could go on Doggo. I'm not saying we're going to give it to him, but that'd be a good boy. He could run up there, cast prayer. That's a buff for him, me, and anyone else in the AoE, and a solid debuff to all the bad guys. The exact flip. So prayer's a solid choice here. And again, he could use some will save bonuses. And that's usually what the shoulder slot's for, and the immunity to blindness and dazzle. Just because he has blind fight and improved blind fight doesn't mean that I want him to be blinded. Just saying, this is a solid upgrade for him. I happily will put that on him. It's not the only choice. Another choice, notice the eel circlet. We'll give that to Doggo. That's something that goes on his head. Why is that something that's at will? Eel circlet allows him to get a +4 to his intelligence, but also cast lightning bolt at will any round as a 5th level wizard. That's only 5d6 of damage. That doesn't sound that impressive, and it definitely isn't. But Doggo has no ranged ability. Now he does. And a little bonus to intelligence that we could give a rat's ass about, but it's still there. And you were not going to put that on anybody else, let's just be honest. Notice that there's like the expert's hats, nothing in here that you'd want. Lightest touch, this is gloves. Doggo can't wear gloves, but for anyone else, dex bonus, reflex bonus, the ability to cast Reduced Person at will as a 5th level wizard. That's a 5-minute buff. Would you do that on a paladin? No. Would I do it on any paladin? If I was a divine hunter, I would. If I was playing a divine hunter, the paladin that shoots at range, that's a reflex bonus. That's a dexterity bonus as well. And a better chance to hit and better armor twice. So remember, you got a massive upgrade here. You got a +2 to dexterity that's based on size. You got a +6 to dexterity based on the fact that you're just wearing the fucking gloves. You can recast that at will, so every 5 fucking minutes you should be reapplying the buff. You got a nice reflex bonus save. That's not that impressive. You'll probably have better than that with other gear, but until that time, this is a solid thing to have. Now, I would also recommend, everybody's different on this, but for a ranged paladin, hell, even for a melee paladin, let's just say it. There could be a dex-based paladin. There's nothing wrong with that. I would make it a gnome, or I'd make it a halfling. They're already teeny tiny. Hell, the halflings already got a bonus to dexterity and charisma, so this would be perfect for them. And now you can make them teeny tiny. How fucking funny would that be? If like you running around like doll size shooting people in the ass with your bow and arrow as a fucking paladin smiting ass. That'd be funny as shit. You know you'd like that. Just saying. But there's other stuff to talk about, and a lot of stuff that comes from staves, not our thing. All Slayer has the ability to actually become invisible as a 3rd level wizard at will. And that's invisibility, not greater invisibility. I know what you're saying. Don't you lose the invisibility the moment you attack or cast a spell? Yes. Sip of my Mike's Hard Lemonade. But at will means that I can sneak into an area, set up the fight, know where I'm going to be, kick their fucking ass. Oh, I'm invisible. I'm visible now because I attacked. So what? Fight's over. Next fight I go to, I cast invisibility on myself at will again, and I got 3 minutes of buff. Walking through the area, checking out the shit. Now this would be something I'd give to like a sneak attacker, like an Eldritch Scoundrel, a rogue proper, you know, hell, anything that can get some sneak attack love would enjoy having this. And notice this one here does divine damage instead of physical damage, and it bypasses any damage reduction, resistance, or immunity the target may possess. That's money. That's the one you give to fucking Knock Knock and let him just fucking chop that thing that's down in the pits that we don't speak about. That little son of a bitch is damage reduced up to yin yang. But have Knock Knock go up there and have him fucking divine chop his ass. Good work, Knock Knock. Just saying. There's reasons to want this one, but not for us. The Way Out, twice. Both the same thing. They're a Scythe, Undated Bane, Keen Scythe, +5. Cast Death Ward at will. As a level 7 cleric. And you may say, well, I already have the ability to cast that. Yeah, but you could now use that slot for something else because you have this. I don't know that this is considered a pole arm or spear. I don't think they are. They're on a stick, so it makes me think that they should count as a pole arm. But if it doesn't, then this is a bummer. If it does, remember when I talked about how there's that feat out there for shields that works. It's called Shield Brace, I think, where you can use a light shield, heavy shield, or tower shield with a pole arm or spear weapon. If this counts as that, then you could totally go back to using light shields and heavy shields, which would be fucking cool. And let's face it, a paladin wielding a scythe would probably make you piddle yourself. Light of Valor, this is the one reason, in my opinion, that you'd probably want to go longsword instead of dueling sword. That and the fact you get your feet back. Holy Axiomatic Longsword +5. There's a bunch of longswords in this game that are +4, +5. This one allows you to cast Searing Light as a 7th level cleric, which is the highest level you can cast a spell at will. And again, it feels like something a paladin would do, smoting people with a big fucking hell beam, or heavy beam, excuse me, from the heavens, burning their face off. Just freaking awesome. So again, you could make yourself a reasonably okay ranged attacking build for a paladin. Hell, and you may say, well, you don't have point blank shot, you don't even have precise shot, brother. You're going to have all kinds of penalties to shooting into combat and blah, blah, blah. Sure, that's true. But let's take something from the stance of, I normally play Magus, okay? Magus have a BAB by the end of the build of 15. And with point blank shot, precise shot, the best I could hope for a ranged attack is a attack of 16. Yeah, I can get dexterity and blah, 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 but so could I on this paladin. Just saying, apples to apples comparison. A BAB of 15 with a point blank shot, if they're within range of that point blank shot, then I'd be at a 16. Well, if I'm at a 20 with a paladin, because I have a BAB of 20 at level 20, and yes, I'm shooting into combat, that's a -4 penalty because I don't have precise shot, I'm still at 16. You see that? So we're really not as bad off as you think because you have such a high BAB. So you're still fine. It's a bummer that you don't have more dexterity. Sure, you can give yourself gear that increases your dexterity, and I highly recommend you do so. But you're not a dex-based build. That's one of the reasons I kind of shied away from this. If I was the Divine Hunter, going totally with a fucking halfling, where I was literally super teeny tiny, going all in on dex, all in on charisma, and shooting like with a bow or something at range because I get precise shot for free, hell yeah, this would be an amazing weapon for that fucking halfling to fucking carry. They can carry long swords. They just don't do as much damage with it, but it's already a +5 holy axiomatic. What more do you fucking need? How about a Searing Light beam at will? Just saying, it's a solid choice. If this wasn't enough to convince you that at will is awesome, other things that can be looked for. Continuous. Greater Ring of Balance if you're true neutral. 5 deflection bonus. Again, something Doggo can't wear because it's a ring. Immunity to emotion effects. Immunity to fear. Another thing you should look for is immunity. Because again, always on, at will, continuous. All these things fall in the same category for me. Notice this part. Continuous effect of freedom of movement. Notice Ring of Blur. Continuous blur always on. Again, Doggo can't use these. That's a bummer. Mallet of Woe. Doggo can't use these. But again, continuous effect of freedom of movement. You're seeing a pattern here. Revelry. This is a nice rapier with freedom of movement and immunity to fear, which we don't need, and death effects. We don't need the immunity to fear, but we could appreciate the immunity to death effects. Mastery. This is a faux shard. Freedom of movement. We're seeing a pattern. Immunity to trip. Bull rush. All kinds of other cool shit. So again, really, really nice stuff that you get to do here, just depending on how you build your character. Now, Doggo needed, let's see, a belt. Already got the shoulder items. Well, we'll look at shoulder items again. Headwear. And neck, I think. So let's do them these one by one. Let's do belt. Doggo could get stuff like Belt of Stone Skin. Cast Stone Skin on himself once a day. I could give him Devil Sash. Give him high Dex and Con. Immunity to poison. It's not bad. So I should give that as a gift. Belt of Athak is another useful one. I don't know that Doggo can wear it. But +4 to Strength, Dex, and Con. That's not amazing, but notice this part. The ability to cast Legendary Proportions on themselves once a day for 13 rounds. We got Divine Supports. Pass. Conquer Worm. I could turn a Doggo into a dragon. That's kind of silly. Mirrored Belt. How about the ability to cast Mirror Image on himself twice a goddamn day? Nothing wrong with that. Lightning Belt. Let's grab that shit. How about we grab, of course, our Belt of Physical Perfection +8. Did that a couple times just in case. And anything else? Your Infernal Cord. No. Greater Belt of Perfect Components. I'll take that just to show you some shit. So that's belts. Headwear for Doggo. And we already got the fucking eel circlet on him, so we don't need that. We'll come back to that for our teammates later. Neck items for Doggo. He does attack with his natural weapons. That includes Amulet of Mighty Fists. So we could give him a +5 to his swing and +5 to his damage by giving him that necklace. If you don't like that, Charmer of the Deep Waters gives him some con bonus and some deflection bonus. Nothing wrong with those. If you don't like that, we could also give him Chirona's Amulet. I'm going to actually take that for my 2 Paladins. They would actually appreciate that. Well, I could give him, though, where did it go? Equilibria. Immunity to cold and fire, +6 deflection bonus. Yes, please. Okay. Now, to warn you, Beholder of Wind. No. Where is it at? Wind Breath? There's one in here that's a necklace that has to do with electricity. And the downside of it is, the Eye of the Storm. +1 caster level for all your spells that have the electricity descriptor. +1 DC check. Remember the Doggo I gave him I'm going to give him a belt that lets him cast Lightning Bolt twice at level 7, as well as give him some dexterity, I think. And he already has a tiara, a little eel circlet that gives him bonus to intelligence and at will ability to cast Lightning Bolt, but only at level 5. Well, this you would think gives him level 6 for that spell and level 8 for the other belt. Does not work. The DC check goes up by 1. So this is appealing just for that, but again, his DC check is not that impressive either way. So I'll pass on that. So what do we got here? So belt. Well, let's talk to the dragon. Yeah, show me what I got. I fucking hate not having Knowledge Arcana. Okay. Doggo. You have Double Sash, Physical Perfection, Belt of Athak. Sure, why not? For the necklace. No. Definitely want his eel circlet. And I definitely want to give him let's give him the Mighty Fist. So you see the +5 here. Mighty Fist, +5 extra damage as well. Definitely want him hitting better. And he doesn't have that many levels, so at the end of the game he starts swinging like a pansy. Until you buff him up, of course. So that kind of sucks. And as far as cloak is concerned, there's one other cloak that was of appeal to me for Doggo. Show it to you here. It is called Obnoxious Veil. Now you may wonder why. Obnoxious Veil has 2 features to it. One, it allows the wearer to have resistance to acid 30. And you may be like, well, that's not bad. I mean, I'd appreciate having that. But what else does it do? Well, that's the fun part. It also allows him to cast Acid Fog twice a goddamn day. So he could be immune to the fog that he's casting. And remember, he has improved Blind Fight. Acid Fog causes penalties that are akin to Blur or Displacement. So that's partial or total concealment. Improved Blind Fight allows him to help overcome that. And again, since he's meleeing, I'm fairly certain he'll be able to melee a lot better than the bad guys will while in his little fog mess. So I thought that was kind of a cool addition. Now let's actually look at our characters. She has a dueling sword. Let's show you her best dueling swords. That's here. Dueling swords. There's another one called Menace. Lord Protector, Royal Gift, Swordsman of Passion, Arcane Enforcer, and the one you want, which is called Bloodhound. There's others in here that are of awesome value as well, but this is really the reason you wanted this build. So, looking at them just to make sure that I can identify them. Going back to her, let's get rid of that one. Let's find that one Bloodhound. This one you can find probably by level 11, 12, 13. If you teleport into an area, kick a bad guy's ass, which is an easy way of doing that, highly encourage you to watch my video. He drops a lot of loot and a lot of XP, so shut XP shear off, take someone in with you, because obviously she can't teleport herself. The two of you have invisibility potions, not greater invisibility potions, several. So you can each chug one, teleport in, initiate the fight, have the one kid invisibility walk all the way over to the other side of the fucking room, and then you stand still with a Heart of Ira activated on you, which constantly puts out a damaging aura, which will kill the bad guy, but he won't know where it's coming from because you're both invisible. Don't hit your other person, because you hit them, they'll fucking initiate the fight, and then bad shit happens. But basically it's a way for you and another person to get a shit ton of XP if you shut XP share off for people that aren't on the party, and you get cool ass gear, including the Bloodhound. The Bloodhound is the highest crit range weapon in the game, just like rapiers are and scimitars, kukri, shit like that. 18, 19, 20. It's not keen. How do I know that? Because 18, 19, 20 is a 3 numbers. Keen doubles the number. So how the hell could you double something to get to 3? It had to be 1.5. That clearly don't work. So this means you can make this a keen weapon, or improve critical, however you want to do it. And that crit range now jumps from 18, 19, 20 to 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. You see the appeal? And this is easy enough to get. It's also a speed weapon, so extra attack. It's a +5 weapon, and again, you just start mowing shit down. And best of all, every time you successfully land a hit against a specific enemy, so the same guy over and over again, you get a stacking +2 bonus on all subsequent damage rolls against that enemy. So hit him once, now you're at +2. Hit him again, now you're at +4. And damage, of course, not to hit check, just damage. But Jesus, you have a bad, tough motherfucker, just keep swinging him. Just keep swinging him. Just keep swinging him. As long as you keep successfully hitting the motherfucker, eventually he's going to take enough damage, he ain't going to like it. So it's a very, very nice weapon to have. There's others. Royal Gift is a nice keen dueling sword. Notice the keen range is 17 to 20 for a normal one. Here's Menace, Brilliant Energy dueling sword that basically cuts through them like butter. Brilliant Energy, for those of you that don't know, ignores armor bonuses and shield bonuses, but not the other stuff. Doesn't work against undead constructs or objects, so be careful. Good news is, as a paladin, we have the ability to enchant our weapon as a Brilliant Energy weapon. So I could do that with the Bloodhound, or make it on fire, or make it a holy weapon. All that shit's applicable for us. I'm going to give her the Chirona's Amulet. I'm also going to give her the Greater Belt of Greater Belt of Perfect Components. And you may wonder why. It allows any of her first, second, and third level spells, which is 3 out of the 4 levels of spells that she has access to be either empowered or extended or both, if applicable. Well, most of her spells are buffs, so extended should work on damn near everything. So think of Divine Favor. You can't empower it, but you could extend it. A 1 minute duration, now jumping to 2 minutes. Fuck yeah. Or how about the Obscuring Mist that she has access to? Again, can be extended. How about Divine Power? That can be extended. Can't be empowered. It can be extended though. And again, she has a lot of spells in that can actually go extra duration. And you may say, well, she's not strong. She doesn't have a lot of con. Well, that's where this next part comes in. So, watch this. We do Control F10 for, let's see here, con, shoulder item. There is a cloak called the Extra Planar Cloak that gives con. Not amazing, but it's better than 0. Now we can see what it is. We'll gift that to her. +4, decent health, and another spell. Once a day for 9 rounds, she can summon Monster 5. Not bad. And again, helps her get her own little pet buddy every once in a while. Totally fine with that. What else might we do? We're looking for strength, right? That's under gloves, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, actually, no, it's under that thing called armor. We're looking for something called Onslaught, right there. This is a gift from one of your patrons. When they finally kiss their ass and they do everything they're supposed to fucking do for you, they will gift you this armor, which is totally baller armor, called Onslaught. Full plate armor, +8, sorry, plus 5, plus 8 strength, there he is, plus 8 strength, and bonus to speed. So you're super fucking zippy, and it's mithril armor, and it's really, really good armor. 14 and 3 max dexterity. Yeah, you're kind of screwed there, but again, we could give you those gloves, and while that wouldn't bring you up to a plus 3, it'd bring you up to a plus 2. There's nothing wrong with that. There's other stuff that could give you dexterity. There's a ring that gives you dexterity. Hat-wise, let's actually search for both of them for hats at the same time. One. So, do that, do that. Well, we don't go to get the wizard hat of mental perfection plus 8. That just seems silly. The crown looks pimp. I'll happily take that. I could also take, let's see, backwards. We're going to grab backwards. Is that Helmet of Dusk? No. Where are you, little bastard? Crown of Elements, no, so shadow, no. It's not there. What is it called? Dark Revelation. No. Brightest Darkness. There we go. Plus 6 to Charisma and Wisdom, and keep reading. If you can channel energy, which you can do, if you use it to cure or to deal damage, you can do 2d6 more. Take that. There's also another one. What the hell is that one called? It's a Dwarven helmet. Metal Reborn, right at the bottom there. Okay. Again, we need to go talk to said dragon. What is all this stuff I found? Oh, never mind. I'm not selling it. Piss off. Hat. I'm going to sort this by type. For the hat, Brightest Darkness. Again, 6 and a 6. Solid choices. And this gives her, again, better ability to channel positive energy. 2d6 more. So again, heals better. She damages undead better. It's a win across the board. For him, we'll take something that she didn't take. How about Metal Reborn? Again, 6 and 6 for Wisdom and Charisma, but also DR5/bludgeoning. So I'm basically sucking up physical damage unless it's a bludgeoning damage. That's not bad. Plus it looks fucking badass. It's pretty goddamn cool. Let's give you his flail before I forget. And it's a weapon called Flail. Worst part about this one is it's heavy flail, but it's actually not listed as heavy flail, so you have to type in flail. The end is a good one. Overthrow, Tyrant, Vanguard. One of these is going to be a flail, one of these is going to be a heavy flail. What else we got? Anything up here? And nothing I care about. Okay. Again, we need to talk to said doggo, or dragon. What are these flails that I found, sir? Okay. Alright, now, for his flail, we have a overthrow. That's our guy. Notice how it says flail in the description down below, but it's actually heavy flail if you read the description up on the top. So it is a heavy flail, two-handed weapon, as you can see. It is a +5 disarm trip weapon. What does that mean? Actually something they added a while ago to the description of these weapons. You get a bonus to try to disarm an opponent if you're using any kind of heavy flail, +2. If you're trying to trip any opponent with a heavy flail in your hand, you get a +2 as well. But this flail is even more special. Not only is it a speed flail +5, it says if the wielder of this flail has a trip feat, we do, each round the first successful hit lands. Each round the first successful hit it lands. Yeah, that's bad English. Basically the first swing has to hit. If it does, you will automatically try to trip for free. Fucking awesome. And that's what this build is about. Now, of course, he has the ability to wear a shield, but it can only be a buckler. There are some good bucklers in the game, besides your typical +5 stuff. So +5, Ratcatcher, I don't care about. Arrow Guard and Blade Guard are pretty decent. So that's at least 3 right there. So you have options is my point for that. But well, I want to show you and prove to you how this works. So notice the 32. How is he getting 32 damage? Well, one, it's a +5 weapon. Notice he's got power attack on. That's -6, but it's a two-handed weapon. So instead of -6 +12 to the damage, it's +18. It's 50% stronger. So you have an 18 and a 5 is a 23. So where is the other 9 coming from? 6 for strength, but because it's a two-handed weapon, he gets 50% more strength. So plus 3 more. So that's where the 9 is coming from. So right now, that makes sense. Watch what happens if I give him Arrow Guard. That doesn't change, but my armor went up. And Arrow Guard is a plus 4 shield. So 5. I'm getting extra 5 armor for that. And it's 3 higher against ranged attacks. So if I'm wailing on somebody on the ground, because we're tripping them and beating the fuck out of them, and his archer buddy is shooting at me, Arrow Guard's giving me 3 more goddamn armor class, and I think that's under all 3 of these categories. So that's nice. If you don't like Arrow Guard, you also have Blade Guard. It does basically the same thing, but against melee attacks. It's not as good a shield in my opinion. As you can see, its base armor is only 4, whereas Arrow Guard's base armor is 5. So I'm just a fan of getting the bigger one. And again, you can just straight up get a Buckler plus 5, which would be a 6 armor class flat. But again, Arrow Guard would be 5 armor for melee, 8 against ranged attacks. This one would be 6 against all attacks. This one would be 4 against ranged, 7 against melee. Again, up to you to decide which is more important to you. I do like Arrow Guard though, quite frankly. We got to give him some armor. Make sure we do that proper. For armor, you're probably going to wear, in my opinion, full plate mail. But just to show you the banded, Imperial Jaeger is not banded, it lies. If you look at it, it says banded down here. It's actually studded armor. So it's kind of a mistake. Other stuff, though, like Giant's Nemesis is okay. We got Greater Acid Resistance is okay. Warpath is pretty goddamn good. Against Human and Elves, you get even better armor. So those are decent choices. You could even do half plate. No result. Half hyphen plate, or half plate, all one word. Picks up these guys. Notice that we have Mithril, of course, because it's metal. Half plate is stability. Bonus to avoid being dazed or shaken. That's definitely something you would appreciate. Same with half plate of will. But if you do the hyphen, more stuff shows up. Nope, more stuff didn't show up. Half plate of hatred, though. That's against orcs, giants, and goblinoids. Okay, but you really want is full plate. And we have Death Crusher's full plate. Dragon Scale full plate will be the one that I'm taking just to prove a point. A Mark of the Guardian, Battle Master, Crusaders Mithril, etc. so forth. There's like a variety of full plates. Onslaught we already saw. Bladed Plate, Blessed Path. Again, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Now, again, talk to your dragon to identify some stuff. But we have to make the decision ourselves. So what kind of full plate are we going to wear? Blessed Path. What is this one? For Paladins, bonus to Wisdom and Charisma, only +2. We can get this early on. This is in the Dwarven Kingdom. I'm not going to say more than that. But notice that it's +2 full plate. Gives a nice Wisdom and Charisma bonus. Sacred bonus to saves against compulsion effects and poisons. And if you're a Paladin, which we are, gives us the ability to use Smite Evil 2 more times a day. And the only person that can wear this, I think this has a lawful restriction. Good character restriction. And again, Paladins are lawful good, so it makes sense. So this is something that goes to waste usually, because most people are like chaotic neutral or chaotic good. They're not Paladins, and therefore they're like, I'll give this to someone else. But this early on could be useful gear for you. I'm not going to keep it, because I'm going to grab something like Dragon Scale. Why? My dex ain't great. I don't care about the -1 and the +1. I care about the acid resistance more than anything. Remember, your doggo is your buddy. He's got that little cloak that allows him to cast acid fog. You can hide in that shit too. You have blind fight. You're not amazing, but you do have blind fight. And being resistant to that acid means you and doggo can fight in the acid cloud when you have those really tough fights. Just the two of you, side by side, kicking ass, taking names, doing that thing. Let's give ourselves some rings. The rings I like. I'll get this 2 same rings for both characters. Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection, Greater Ring of Circumstances. Or sorry, Ring of Circumstances. And again, we'll have the dragon identify him. What we got? Thanks, dragon. You're the best. From here, this is your ring. This is your other ring. Now watch your armor go up. Here, here, and here. Ready? Bang. Why? This is a deflection ring. Okay, so Ring of Protection, basically. But Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection. So not only do you get 5 resistance here, here, and here, that's awesome. We also get +5 deflection here, here, and here. That's awesome. And we get spell resistance 24 and DR2/dash. Very nice ring. I'm sure you can agree. Notice she's getting the same too. Also, the other ring is the Ring of Circumstances. This is the one that after you take a knee, which we're about to do right now, it'll charge up, and the ring allows you to pick 4 things on this list to activate. Their toggles. I go with armor, I go with charisma, I go with constitution, and I go with strength. And I think that's the same for both of them. I think that's a solid choice. You're going to be a strength-based character. Con is extra HP and fortitude. Strength is extra hitting and extra damage. You got extra armor class, and you got yourself extra charisma, which is, of course, more saving throws and spells a day and blah, blah, blah. But again, a really nice upgrade for you and your character. And they're circumstantial bonuses, so they stack with the shit that you already had. Like, see here, strength, +2 from the ring, +8 from the armor. 2 different categories. So a really nice upgrade for you. And again, you're about to get a lot of spells as a result of shit like that. Now, he is also missing cloak. She already has one. He needs a belt. Let's just give him the belt of physical perfection +8. Boom, boom, boom. Really tough, really strong, nice dexterity. And yes, the armor's not really giving him all he could be, but it's only missing out on 2. It's still giving him the reflexes. So again, in the grand scheme of things, I'm okay with that. And again, there's other armor choices. We could have picked something else. But again, I was happy with the dragon scale for the time being. Other stuff that we need. We could get a cloak. Notice I got the Cloak of the Chosen. That's the one we were going to give Doggo, but we didn't, because he needed the acid fog. Well, here you go, Doggo. Cloak of the Chosen. I now have blindness and dazzle immunity on my main tank, and I have resistance bonus to will save. That's useless because of the ring, but so what? I also have the ability to cast prayer spell at will. Remember, prayer was one of my spells. Right here. So I don't need that shit anymore, because I can cast it at will now. So what else might I grab? How do I get another Deadly Judgment? There you go. Or maybe I don't need that much. How about I grab Angelic Aspect? That's kind of lame. Another Archon's Aura? Sure, why not? I get Greater Stunning Barrier. I could get anything on that list that I wanted, but I don't need that anymore. Because I can just like something like poof, there it is. Poof, there it is. Very, very nice. Again, we'll go back through spells later. But again, looking pretty good, right? He needs a necklace. And give him the Gyrona's necklace. So that's a +5, +5, +5 to his armor. Insight bonus. And just like her, she has the same one. When they get into combat, I could have given this to Doggo too, by the way. When they get into combat, they cast Mirror Image on themselves at the start of every combat. That's a really nice buff. Goes a long way for keeping them alive. She needs gloves and boots. He needs gloves and boots, and that's about all we got. So, for boots, I always go the same. I mean, of course, skin boots. Bam, bam. For gloves, there's Star Soldier's Gauntlets, Blessed Hands, Royal Gloves of Valor, Lightest Touch. Honestly, the ones you're probably going to grab for these people are probably the Alkali Gloves, so I'm going to grab 2 of those. And let me explain why once we actually look at our gear with the dragon. Thanks, dragon, you're the best. Alright, first get the booties on. Notice how their armor goes up, +4, because of the natural armor and here and here. Doesn't show up there. It's okay. This is going to go up from 39, 38 to 43, 42. Boom, very nice. Gloves. Like I said, you're probably going to do the alkali gloves for both of them. Just adds acid damage to any other weapon attacks. 1d6. Nothing fancy, but it's cheap and it's easy and it's reliable. Other stuff though we had like Blessed Hands. If you were to cast spells, this would be a better buff for you. Lightest Touch, that's the dexterity one. So again, for like her, I could totally do that. If for no other reason than to give her better reflexes and armor. She doesn't have to use the cast Reduced Person. And remember, Reduced Person at will doesn't mean it has to be cast on you. Reduced Person can be cast on anybody, except for Doggo. So she could totally use that and use that for her team. That's up to you. Royal Gloves of Valor, this is one of the charisma bonuses gear. That's not a hat. That's not a cloak. So this is a really nice upgrade. You could totally have gone with that. And notice that it allows you to cast Greater Heroism 3 times a day as a level 11 wizard. That's a +4 bonus to your swing and all kinds of other cool shit and some temp HP. And you do that 3 times a fucking day for 11-minute stretches. That's not bad at all. And again, we're not really rocking that highest charisma gear over here. Yeah, I like the tiara. Same with him. I like the metal reborn. But I could have found something better here and gave him those gloves. There's nothing wrong with that. Up to you. Star Soldier's Gauntlet. Again, that's a strength bonus. For her, she has the onslaught armor, so she don't need a strength bonus. But if she didn't have that, you could have given her those gloves. And she can now cast Ray Spell. Pew, pew, pew. But this would be the one, again, that I'd probably put on a Divine Hunter. A Paladin that's good, that gets precise shot for free, and that's good at ranged attacking. This would be an amazing upgrade for them. Again, I could have given everybody a crown. It's plus 6 to all 3 of their mental stats. But that's about all it really does. I'm okay with that. Let's look at our spells. Last time, just to show you that we have more. For here, again, it never hurts to have more of the same things. So I'll do Blessed twice, and I'll do Divine Favorite twice, and 2 of the Challenge Evils. Over here, I said I want to get that Righteous Vigor up. That one's done already. This one here, I would probably take the Forceful Strike or the Resounding Blow. I already got that one already. Is there anything else I want here? Greater Angelic Aspect, until you get your Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection, whatever. This one's not bad, because it gets you a +4 deflection bonus. And again, really, really nice resistance saves as well. It's AoE, so it's you and your team. You get some nice immunity to acid and cold. You get some DR10s. That's physical attacks except for evil weapons. Racial saves against poison. Just a lot of really good shit in this one spell. It says it gives you wings and lets you fly, but I think that's a goddamn lie. But let's actually prove that to ourselves. And then he's done with his spells. Her turn. Let's get her another Divine Favor. Or I could get another Obscuring Mist. Up to you. Here, she's already got what she needed. Let's grab a... Let's get another one of these Weapon of Oz, and then get that Righteous Vigor again in the last spot. Here, we're going to go with another Deadly Juggernaut. Sounds good to me. Here, we're going to grab... Probably, honestly, another Divine Power, because they burn through them really goddamn quickly. And remember, this is a level 4 spell. Her belt only works on level 1, 2, and 3. So, that's a pretty decent smattering of spells. Let's do another quick rest. Let's go into the dungeon and kick some ass. Now, what to summon and what to do first. I think what we'll do, we'll start low, only because we haven't buffed up in anything to any real extent. I mean, we can show you roughly what would happen to your character. But we don't need to go crazy here. I just want to show you a couple tricks. Also, I want to show you how, for example, one of the tricks is how to know if you're wasting your Smite Evil. Remember, you can pick a target to Smite Evil. Doesn't mean you're going to get the bonus. They have to be evil. So how do you know they're evil without actually knowing it? Well, remember that spell that we just picked? It is called Challenge Evil. If you click it, see the X? See the X? These guys are not evil. That's why you know that it's not evil. If it's not evil, it'll look like it is right now when you're clicking a target. You don't even have to cast a spell on them. I'm just saying highlight the target like this and say, oh, he's evil. Back out by right-clicking your mouse. And then you can do your Smite Evil, which is this little guy right here. Say click, fuck that guy over. And it'll poof, hit them, just like it always does. And because he's evil, it will actually work. Now, the last thing, let's put this stuff in place here first. Last thing I do want to kind of show you is the tricks between you and Doggo with your tripping and stuff. Because it is a very cool feature. Put stuff away, put stuff where it belongs. Show you how to buff up and use our weapons and all our cool abilities too. So normally I have charge, coup de grace, fight defensively side by side. Then I'll usually put like things like power attack, piranha strike, arcane strike, stuff that's toggles that you might want to turn on and off next to them. Notice we have our at-will abilities. We definitely want to get our smites. We got our Lay on Hands, 2 versions. Remember, the Lay on Hands Others works for healing people or damaging undead. Okay, you actually walk over and touch the undead on the shoulder. Notice you have your damage undead here, and you have your heal AoE style. But remember, you don't have selective channel, so we cannot damage undead without affecting our undead as well. We cannot heal our team without healing the bad guys as well. So you save this for after the fight. This is a way for you to top off after the fight's over so that Tristan doesn't have to. Notice we even have Mark of Justice. That's the bigger version of Smite Evil that we share it with the team. Notice that we have like False Life, Harm. Those came from the Bracers. We have trip ability. What else might we have in here that would be of value? Let's get our divine weapon bond up here. We make it a flaming weapon, keen weapon, axiomatic weapon, holy weapon. We can make it a disruption weapon, a speed weapon, or even a brilliant energy weapon. That's pretty fucking nice. And that covers, I believe, everything I want to cover. I'm going to put the demoralize. This is the one I told you that everyone has this ability. At level 1 or level 2, they give this to you for free. Anyone has the ability to pick a target and try to go, wow, and scare them. It's nothing more than an intimidation check. It's the same thing that your Dazzling Display, Corn Against Smash, Dreadful Carnage does by default. This doesn't attack, and do damage, though. So it's a single target, fuck you to that bad guy. But this is still a way to set stuff up. I keep forgetting that we have it. We need to talk about the fact that we do have it. Spells. Again, no particular order here. I just go from low to high. Nothing fancy. That. Sure, why not? That sounds good. Then we do that one here. That one there. You as well. These ones are mostly buffs. These are mostly damage buffs. Notice we still had space left. That's fine. You're not going to get everything. We do the same with her. She's actually going to have a little more because she has a little more diverse spell book. But again, we put stuff in the same order, more or less. Notice that she will have Dazzling Display, though. That's this one here. Takes a while to fire off, but with turn-based combat, that's easy peasy pumpkin squeezy. She has her Smite Evil ability. Remember, she has her lesser restoration ability once a day that she gets for being an Aesimer that she is. We have our Lay on Hands. We also have our Mark of Justice. We want to have our AoE heal and our AoE damage undead. We already have the Dazzling Display. Notice how she has summons. Let's actually get these off of here so we make some room. Okay. Put that over here for now because it's a spell-like ability. Reduce person. I'm going to do the same for over there. Same with freedom of movement. That came from the bracers. She has her halo. We could leave that down here if we don't have room. We'll take that off because it's always going to stay on. Same with her wings. We could put those down there, but I don't think that's the best use of them. Here's our fire weapon and all the other buffs. Put that in a nice, neat little corner. Along with our weapon upgrade ability. Oops. Down here, we got toggles on. Again, I'm happy leaving those there. I don't think we have anything else we need to pull down here. I mean, we have this, and the spell, dismiss spell ability, but yeah, I don't care. And demoralize too, I suppose. Yeah, let's actually put the demoralize over here, just to remind us we have a single target version of it. Spell-wise, again, same deal that we saw before. Put our spells in no really particular order. Running a lot of room a little bit, so we move stuff up. Power, Death Ward, Kill Soul. You there. There we go. Now, quick save. We'll go into this next room. It's going to be a bloodbath. I'm not worried about that. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to clear out a room and then probably summon a monster to show you some shit. But, first things first. Let's say this is going to be a big fight. We want to Smite Evil. We get this early in the game. Like level 1, you have it immediately. And what does it do? Well, Charisma bonus, any that you have. Remember, we always start out with 16 for both of these builds. That's a +3 bonus. That is added to our attack roll. The higher your Charisma, the better the attack roll. Then you add your Paladin level to the damage. Notice we're Paladin level 20. That's a lot of extra goddamn damage. But it also penetrates DR of the target, and it gives you Deflection bonus armor class until you, of course, you get Deflection Rings of your own equal to your Charisma. So this is a way for us to have early deflection bonus. Okay, it doesn't last long until the fight's over, obviously, or until you switch targets. But basically, against that target, we're going to have a nice deflection bonus. Well, how do you know that they're evil? Because it only works on evil. So if you click it and click the guy, it'll automatically work. Whether it's supposed to work or not is another story. So that's when you do your challenge evil. You see how it's not a big X through the little yellow icon? That's the cursor here. To put it on me, see the X? See the X? You see the X? That means we're not evil. He's evil. He's evil. So again, you could use this spell on them. I don't. I just right click and then I go back to using Smite Evil and say, fuck you.
Your
kick his ass.
death awaits.
And totally whiff it. Way to go with a fucking critical miss. Here's the point though. Furious Focus, one swing, first swing. Power attack, -6. Furious Focus kicks in, overcomes it. Notice the Smite Evil +7. That means our charisma must be at +7, which means 14, 24 charisma right now. Yeah, baby. That's nice. And again, if we would have hit, it would have hit like a goddamn brick shithouse, but she is a pansy. Good job. Way to make me look bad in front of my people. Anyway, we'll do the same to this prick. Smite Evil. Notice how it's a swift action that kicks in after a certain level. It starts off, I think, as a standard action or move action, and then it goes into a swift action at a certain point, I think. We're going to charge this bastard. Bam! Notice two things. Three things. One, that to hit check. Smite Evil +7. Notice I'm at combat expertise on and power attacks on. That's a -6 and a -6, but the Furious Focus is taking away the power attack penalty for the first and only swing in that combat round. After that, I'm at a -12. There's a way around that. I'll show you that. We caught him flat-footed, of course. That's another thing to note, but I don't care about that so much. The damage, on the other hand, look at that fucking beautiful ass 59. Smite Evil, baby. That's fucking mean if it's an evil bastard, of course. Notice something else, though. We used our ability that's part of this heavy flail, because the first hit, which was the only hit, because we only got one swing, hit the mark. We automatically do a combat maneuver trip attempt because we have the feat trip. Notice it was a terrible roll. Rolled a goddamn 1. It should have succeeded, but I think if you roll a 1, that's an automatic fail, just like everything else. It's like a crit fail. But we had a 32 base, and anything that would buff, I think, our strength or dexterity, I can't remember. I think it's strength, allows this number to go up. And our BAB as well. So again, that 12 is probably from strength and 11 from strength and probably another 20 from your BAB. Where the other point's coming from, I can't tell you. But that's basically what you're trying to do, is you're trying to trip the target. And there's feats out there that we could have grabbed that also add your dexterity modifier, for example, or whatever. But that seems fiddly at that point, and I don't care enough about it. But that's a nice combo. And remember, when the doggo comes in and starts doing that shit, they can do it as well. Doggo, he does it just by biting somebody. Like so. See how he did his bite, flanking, -3 power attack because his BAB is not as good as mine. He has his Amulet of Mighty Fist, so +5 is countering that, and then some. He's a bigger size now, so that sucks. I caught the guy flat-footed, of course. His damage was respectable. +27, I'd say, is pretty good. I always ignore that first number unless it's really impressive. But +27, that's respectable. And again, as soon as he bit, he did his typical combat maneuver. Again, his is not as impressive as mine. But when we stand side by side and do that shit, that's when it gets to be fun. And that's when I need to buff up, because we're going to summon some bad guys up in here. It's going to get really fucking gnarly really fucking fast. So, what would I buff up? Well, obviously, long-lasting buff. And I'll happily take Effortless Armor. For those of you that don't know, I was at a speed penalty. I have the Manticore Skin Boots making me faster, but because of the armor I was wearing, I'm at a speed penalty of like, I want to say -10 to my speed. So this is kind of a problem. But now that I have that one spell on me, the Effortless Armor, I get my speed back and I get less of a penalty to athletics, stealth, trickery, blah, blah, blah. Or not trickery, stealth, mobility, and athletics. There we go. And I don't care about those things, but I do care about the speed. Speed is a problem, and again, I'd rather be at 40 a round than 30 or 20 or 25. So anything better than 30, you're doing well for yourself. So a solid tune right now just for that one spell. Then we definitely want to give ourselves Blade Tutor. Blade Tutor, for those of you that don't know, is a buff that will take away either from power attack or piranha strike or from combat expertise, which he has, fighting defensively, anything that's a toggle you turn on that's a penalty to your swing. A Blade Tutor will take one of them and give you +1 all the way up to +6 depending on how high your caster level is. You see we're only at +4. We're missing out on the last 2 upgrades. Actually, I think we're missing out on the last upgrade. I think it only goes up to a +5. But the point is that's not bad. So a -6 is technically now a -2. And yes, I still have the -6 from combat expertise, but that was giving me extra armor, probably. If it is a problem, I'll just shut it off. Right? Other stuff. Obviously, Bless. Weapon of Awe. Get me the Archon's Aura. Notice something else here. I have some of the spells that are personal effects, like the Blade Tutor. See how it's letting me cast it on Puppo? He is my animal companion. Because of that, I'm automatically able to share the spell with him. No, I shouldn't say share. Use it on him or me. Not sharing it. Sharing it's another set of feats. But now Doggo has it. Blade Tutor -3, or +3, power attack -3. He's perfectly in sync now with his power attack. And it could have gone up to +4 as we saw. So clearly, this is the best it's going to get. It's not going to give you more than the penalty that you have, is basically what I'm saying. So again, I can do that for Puppo. I can give him Weapon of Awe. I don't know that that works on natural attacks, though. Now, you can't cast a spell on natural weapon, but you can cast it on unarmed strike. It says at the bottom. Okay, that's fine. Notice Divine Favor. I can cast that on Doggo. Did that work? +3. See that? +3 to his swing, +3 to his damage. That's what Divine Favor does. It's only for a minute, so it's not the most impressive. But now watch this. I do the same for me. And I'll do the same for her.
It's my way of supporting equality.
Notice how she casts it on herself automatically. She doesn't have a pet. That's why it assumes when it says personal effect, it's cast on her. But notice something here. Mine, Divine Favor, is giving me a +3, just like it did for Doggo. Hers is going to give her Fate's Favor, the +1 extra. 3 and 1. That's 4, because it's a luck bonus. Remember that? That's why I said we wanted that. So Divine Favor and Divine Power get +1 better because of that little upgrade. And that's a significant upgrade. Don't kid yourself. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention that there is one more piece of gear that we do want to gift ourselves. And it's called the Elixir of blah blah blah, big name, etc. and so forth. I'm going to give 2, which is not what's going to happen in the game, but I just want to have it on both characters so you can see. So basically, use it. Use it. It's permanent buff, +2 to all your stats, and then you see that it's stacked with everything else because it's a transmutation. It's an inherent transmutation of mind, body, and soul. 2, 2, 2 across the board. Same with him. Could have given it to Doggo, but why? But this is the best case scenario-ish that I can give you right now for your character. Lots of stuff, and by the way, that also meant more spells a day. Just 1, but we'll take it. Just saying. She has Good Hope that she can cast on the team. She's got her own Blade Tutor. Alright. Quick save that mess. Excuse me. Scroll F10. Let's summon a monster. What kind of monster shall we summon? We want to spawn. Let's see, what kind of types of trolls do we have? Search. Misbegotten Troll, he's probably big and mean. Troll Hound. There we go, Ferocious Troll Guard. Hostile. Notice how it says backspace? That will activate it. So we can actually close up and just hit backspace. And he's not on top of us now, which is fucking nice. Alright, now, I am going to delay my turn past Doggo. Why? Doggo's going to come over and try a trick. Okay? Now, A, he was successful in hitting. Solid swing, we buffed him like crazy, so he's doing really good for himself. He's got morale bonus thanks to Good Hope, a luck bonus thanks to Divine Favor, his amulet's up there, Blade Tutor's on him, he's got Power Attack, which is a penalty, same with the size, but he's really, really strong, doing well for himself, right? It's not going to be amazing at the end of the game, but until the end of the game, he's going to do really, really well for you. And if anything, he's just a distraction for the bad guy, and setting up your flanking, outflank, your tandem trip ability, and all that fun shit. Now notice, he tried to trip with his bite and failed. He's got a 27 modifier, rolled a 5. He needed to be at 36. He needed to roll a 9 or better. I think you got to equal that number or pass it to make the trip go down. But I have a much better chance at hitting him. Watch this.
This will hurt!
Okay, that didn't do what I wanted to do. The reason I say that was because the first hit missed. So the critical miss, that's the one that I needed to hit. Remember, the first one that hits is the one that's going to do the trip maneuver with that weapon. Now, having said that, let's repeat the process. There's something I could have done instead of just swinging the weapon. I actually have a button that says trip. Let me see if I can show it to you. Right here. See that? Now, before we do this, a little explanation. Remember, I have the ability to trip. That's this guy here. Remember, I also have tandem trip. Whenever you attempt a trip combat maneuver against an enemy threatened by an ally with this feature, which includes Doggo, you roll twice and take the better result. Now, I don't know that Doggo's threatening him right now. So again, I will literally delay my turn past Doggo to ensure that. She's just going to come over here and give him the stank guy. Doggo's going to attack. You bastard, Doggo, you did your trip already. Let's see if it worked for Doggo. So attack, combat maneuver, trip. I only rolled once. Damn it, Doggo. Now I gotta wait for him to get back up. Notice the attacks of opportunity. Again, that's a staple. Maverick over here. Stay still. I have Doggo delay. Now that we know that Doggo's within a range.
You son of a run!
Stop crit missing, you doofus. Oh, you suck at this. Oh, I need to show you this trick and it won't work unless I actually do a trip maneuver. Which means I have to either A, hit him, or B. I'm just going to do that. Come and get it.
I'll loot your force.
Nice hit. Bam. Alright, Doggo. Remember, he has some abilities of his own here. Legendary Proportions. Notice it doesn't require Dinosaur Bone because it's coming from his cape or belt or whatever. He has Lightning Bolt at will, and he has Acid Fog twice a day. So again, he has his own abilities. And he can coup de grace. It's kind of silly, but I suppose that's a thing. I should have these like that for Doggo. Okay. Have him charge him. He failed on his attempt. I'm okay with that. And notice he only rolled once. Remember, he has that feat, but he's not near me and me threatening him at the same time. So what I'm going to do is pass my turn here, my guy up, and instead of swinging a weapon that's been missing left and right, I'm going to make sure I trip the motherfucker. Nice, right? Now wait, let's show you what happened there, okay? So Doggo attack, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Trip. Use trip ability. Trip. Trip uses combat maneuver trip against ferocious troll guard. Okay? So that was my roll. 1639. Not bad. Doggo makes attack of opportunity. Trip makes attack of opportunity. Dueler, critical hit. Must have been their attack of opportunity. Yeah. And they fucking just owned it with 105 damage. Fucking mean. Notice, by the way, with that attack of opportunity, Blade Tutor's still there, Power Attack, Bloodhound, Fates favored, that bonus with Divine Favors working there, the Weapon Focus, and the Family Heirloom. All that just synergizing extremely well. And hitting like a goddamn monster. Bloodhound is just brutal. And then Dog, critical hit with a nice ×2, 64 damage. That's not as impressive, but again, looking really nice with that Blade Tutor, Amulet of Mighty Fist. And then I, trip, hit, and again, I have overthrow the weapon, Blade Tutor's not quite as good as the power attack, but again, I'd rather be swinging at a -2 instead of a -6, so I'm happy with that. The target was flat-footed, probably because everyone else knocked him on his ass at that point, and he was straight up, yeah, prone and helpless, so not massive penalty to his issue. So again, just crushing the son of a bitch. But that did not show the feature that I was looking for, so I need to fucking make sure that that's working as intended. The feature we're looking for, by the way, is the greater trip. You can make a free attack. No, it's not greater trip, but it's tandem. Tandem trip. Where the hell are you at? Tandem trip. Whenever you attempt a trip combat maneuver against an enemy threatened by an ally with this feat, you roll twice and take the better of the result. We didn't see the double roll, so I want to see that. So let's do another trip. It's going to show up. I've seen it earlier today, and that's why I'm making this video extra long, because I want you to see this. Show it so you can see where it's going to be in the tutorial. You're coming around here.
Stab their backs.
Halfway swinging on once just to weaken them a little bit. Trip. Wants you to delay your turn. So Doggo can do his thing. Notice how Doggo, with both of his bites, both of them did a combat maneuver and failed. He tried though. So that means literally every time he does a bite maneuver, he's going to try to do a trip maneuver. So again, he's doing okay. He's just, against this opponent, he's very, very hard to beat. 24, he could beat him. He just needs to get another 14 or higher. And he just did not connect with that. Hell, this one was real close. But now that he did that, I should be able to do brutal shit to him. So let's look at that. Trip attacks ferocious blah 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 with a hit. First 1 out of 5. Notice the power attack. Notice the furious focus taking away the power attack penalty. Notice that my blade thing is not being counted here. My blade tutor. It's because 6 is better than 4. So they're not giving it to you, which is fair, because that would be cheating. But if I had combat expertise on, that might still have kicked in, because combat expertise would have been a -6 again, remember? And furious focus takes away power attack, but not combat expertise. So the other one, the blade tutor, could give me a +4, while the combat expertise is taking away -6. That would be okay, because after everything's said and done, that means I'm only swinging at a -2 penalty. That's nothing. But notice that after I hit him, I did my combat maneuver. It is not working. Did I forget to take that on you, Doggo? No, you got it. What the hell? Why is that not working? It worked earlier today. It's shows the ability, like literally roll twice. Let me see if I can show it to you in another way. Let's have her cast like this, the obscuring cloud thing. So like this thing here. Okay. The obscuring mist, again, this was in the previous video I showed you guys the other day. Apologies if that one was a little too long. It was only like an hour and change, and I even added a build at the end to it. The reason that this one is important is because it sets up decent protection, but for them as well. See the miss chance at 20%? She rolls once and done, passed it on the first try. So again, not that big of a deal. She also has blind fight. So if she would have rolled poorly on that first roll, she would have gotten a chance to roll again. Blind fight gives you all that for every roll. If it's a 20% miss chance or 50% miss chance, doesn't matter. Blind fight gives you a re-roll chance, which is extremely valuable. So that one feat alone was worth it, in my opinion. He has it. I'm going to actually not delay his turn, but take one swing. So you can see this. See the failed attempt? Roll 13. And he should have blind fight, does he not? No, I do not. Boo. I forgot that I didn't take it. Wow, I didn't take it on him? Apparently I did not take it on... Oh, I took him on Doggo. That's what it was. Doggo has improved blind fight, yes. Owie. Jerk. And see, I still have the 20% miss chance as well. So basically I'm concealed as well. But now here's Doggo. The reason that was important, no 20%. Why? Improved blind fight. So if you look at his abilities, the improved blind fight, ignore mischance for less than total concealment. That's the 20%. Poof. It's gone. Doesn't exist. And that's what obscuring mist does. Is for melee it's 20%. For range it's 50. For Doggo then he would have a problem with range, but he doesn't attack with range. With the exception of like his lightning bolt spell, but that's not the same kind of thing. So again, he doesn't have that issue. Improved blind fight is extremely valuable, in my opinion, for him. And while I'm not saying it's great because again she only had one casting, she's not the one that's going to be casting this all the time, or your main character is not. It's going to be like Octavia or someone else that has it. So again, everyone's going to play that part a little different, but I still maintain that it's a solid screw you. Now of course we should be showing you how to buff your weapon. So you see this toggle up here? Oh, that's a clickable. That's a clickable that gives you a buff to your weapon. Your weapon is now up to +5. The weapon was already at +5, so we didn't do a goddamn thing to it. It is exactly the same way it was, except for the Weapon of Awe, and that came from a spell we cast already. So that was a waste. What would not be a waste would be you using a lesser than +5 magic weapon, and then it would get up to +5. Or you would activate one or more of these toggles. Each of these toggles takes away one of the pluses. This one takes away 1. This one takes away 1. This one takes 2, 2, 2. Speed buff takes 3 away. Brilliant Energy takes 4 away. And you have up to 6. How do I know that? Go up here. See the buff? Divine Weapon Bond +6. And again, it even says it in the tooltips. Maximum of +6 at level 20. These bonuses can be added to the weapon, stacking with existing weapon bonuses to a maximum stacking now, +5. So my weapon's already at +5, that's a waste. So I should activate a bunch of toggles that equal +6. Well, here's one that's +4, and let's make it flaming and let's make it keen at the same time. So next round, I'll activate that. That's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 4 more, makes it 6. That means the +6 is not wasted, but I now have a flaming, keen, brilliant energy, whatever weapon. Of course, he has to survive it. But literally, you can do this ahead of time too. You leave the toggles running. Buff up. It's badass. I usually shut the toggles off. Don't hit the button again. And the reason you don't hit the button again is it takes away the previous buff. Info. Notice how it's flaming now. Notice how it's keen. Notice how it's brilliant energy. All that shit can be found down here as well, letting you know what you basically did to it. Keen is just a better crit range. Fire, 1d6 of fire damage per smack, which of course against trolls is awesome. The brilliant energy, that's the big selling point here. Brilliant energy, as long as they're not undead constructs or objects, which is a rare list, they ignore their armor and their shield armor. So any physical armor that they have on and any shield bonus that they may have is gone, because it's like a touch attack, just right through it. But it doesn't work against undead constructs or objects. So in that case, you don't use brilliant energy, you use something else, like make it a flaming weapon, make it a disruption weapon. That was an obvious choice for an undead. We can make it a holy weapon or an axiomatic weapon. There's all kinds of things here that'll fuck up a construct. So again, we're doing fine, is my point. We have a lot of buffs coming from our gear. Definitely want to get your temp spells up. For example, with her, I can do the freedom of movement from her bracers. It's only going to last for 1 minute, but so what? That could have been helpful. She has Eagle Soul. That's a nice buff. I'll show you that one. That's a swift action, no less. You call forth a Surge of Holy Power, which grants you the following benefits. +2 Sacred bonus to armor class, or armor class should be +2 here, here, and here. +4 Sacred bonus to strength. Knows how high her strength has gone up now. And again, Sacred bonus stacks with other bonuses. Resistance to acid and fire. Well, she already had acid resistance, I think, as an Aasimar, but she didn't have fire resistance. So that's helpful. Sacred bonus on all persuasion when used to intimidate, which is kind of her thing. Of course, against evil. +2 bonus to initiative checks. Fast healing too. She regenerates damage, and that's going to last for 1 round per caster level is my guess. Any critical threat roll made against an evil creature with a weapon you wield is automatically confirmed. That's fucking money. And again, that's 1 round, I'm guessing, per caster level. So your caster level 17, remember? Go to your book, you see it right here. So again, I think you would like either of these Paladin builds, and there's an infinite number of ways you could have made them. Like I said, the Cornigan Smash build is the staple. There's nothing wrong with that, the Dreadful Carnage and all that fucking jazz. For her, matter of fact, I should show you real quick her cleaving somebody with that weapon of hers. She needs to get her Weapon of Awe on. That's why she hasn't been doing her fanciness. Weapon of Awe is the one that's plus 2 extra damage, but also when it crits, it gives her the ability to shaken the target. Right? So I'm going to have him come over, get out of the way. She needs to buff up her weapon. Nice. She don't have time to attack him in the same round, so I should have buffed up ahead of time. It'll be fine. Fucking loser. Doggo, why don't you come over here? Bite him in the ass. Good job, Bio. Very nice. Okay.
This will hurt!
Total whiff. 20% this chance. Now, let's see if I can get a crit off this bastard.
Stab their backs.
Critical miss. That's not exactly what I was looking for. And the reason, like I said, we're looking for that crit number, crit fishing with this particular weapon. This 18 to 20, matter of fact, I should have buffed it, which means I should do keen next time. Next time, baby, next time. Patch turn, doggo. Patch turn, buddy. Let the troll heal up. We're gonna keen weapon buff us. Now we have the best crit range. 15 to 20. Okay. So now we're at the stage where we can start crit fishing. Basically is what I'm saying. Bad, are you dead, boy?
You should have run!
I want to smack on something. She needs to hit somebody that's alive. Considering it's doing a solid. I mean, look at that. That's a 50% miss chance. And the reason it's 50% for him, by the way, is because he has such reach. That might be the problem we're having with me and him doing our trip maneuver. Because he's such a big target, it's easy to hit him. We're not technically on top of the son of a bitch. That might be what's going on.
Your death awaits.
Finally got it to work. Now, let's show you what I mean. Notice how the first hit was a crit. It doesn't matter that it was the first one, just that it wasn't the last one. So the first one was a crit, and because of that, no saving throw. That's why there's no check here. And he is shaken. How do we know that? Literally, you could see the aura quaking in his booties kind of thing that he's got going on right now. That's the shaking condition. You can look up here. It'll show you he's flat-footed and shaken for 18 seconds, 3 rounds. Oh, that much stack. Oh my god, honey. That's fucking awesome. I didn't know that was a thing. Because she crit him like 3 fucking times. So it must be one round, then another round, then another round. That's even better than loving this build then. So what did that do though? So critical hit, obvious damage, not surprising. But that's shaking him. So again, here he is flat-footed. How did he go from being here at 21 armor to being here at 18? Flat-footed. Because he's shaken. No saving throw. Because of the crit. Because of that buff, that weapon of awe that she has here. He's automatically shaken for 1 round. Because of that, she has shattered defenses. That's now the flat-footed target to her. Now, really useful, right? And again, that's part of like the Cornigan Smash Dreadful Carnage that you usually try to set up. You don't have to, is the point. Sorry, I had to sneeze. But that's the beauty of that type of a build. With a weapon of awe, with the shattered defenses, the nice crit weapon, and the fact that we have the best crit range, and the fact that we can make it a keen weapon very quickly in this build, suddenly we can crit fish like a son of a bitch and start setting up that shaking condition. And that's not the only way to do it. She could have just intimidated him this way. It wouldn't have done anything fancy. She could have raised her fucking arm, did the dazzling display, and AoE scared him and all his buddies. That would have worked too, but she wouldn't get to attack in the same combat round. That's why Cornigan Smash and Dreadful Carnage are so appealing. Because when you do Cornigan Smash, all you have to do is hit them once. and a power attack has to be on when you hit them, and it automatically checks for intimidation. And then after that, if they fail the intimidation check, because in that instance there is a check, then they're shaken, and then the next follow-up attack, thanks to your Shatter defenses, is flat-footed, 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 just like you saw with this guy. And again, she just kept fucking reaming his ass. Hit him here, flat-footed, hit him for solid damage, hit him with another goddamn crit. Again, solid damage because of crit, and again, added more to the shaking condition. That's another 6 seconds. Here's another critical hit, another 6 seconds. Just basically mowing him down. And the reason that it's working for her, by the way, was 2 reasons. Not just the weapon. Remember this little bad boy? Any critical threat roll made against an evil creature, like this evil troll, with a weapon you wield is automatically confirmed. That's why you're seeing so many crits. So between Eagle Soul and the other one, the Weapon of Awe, she's crushing it. And remember something else with her gear. Remember, she's got the Greater Belt of Perfect Components, so she has double durations on her spells that are level 1, 2, or 3. Well, that doesn't include her Eagle Soul, sadly, so you probably want to double up on that spell, or same with Divine Power. But these guys here, like Prayer, like Deadly Juggernaut, like Good Hope, all that shit is getting double durations. Same with Blade Tutor, same with Weapon of Awe, so she's getting really, really good long-term buffs with those weapons. So again, really, really nice for her that she gets that added little bit of juice because of that Greater Belt of perfect spell components, whatever the hell it's called. And again, just tearing into this guy, which is part of the fucking point. From there, we'll just finish him off. Doggo, get a num-nums. And I want to see if we can fight something smaller to show you the trip interaction between me and Doggo. So we're not going to summon that prick anymore. We'll do it this way. What up, yo? Trip's going to come over here. Not going to attack him, but I'm within attack range. And so is Doggo if he comes over here. Now again, why is this attack range thing important to us? Because again, with our tandem trip teamwork feats, like that, we get to just like straight up brutalize somebody. We had attacks of opportunity on that son of a bitch. Not even sure why that kicked in. Because he's just attacking us with a spear. There's nothing fancy about a spear attack. He didn't throw it at us. But we get our flanking bonus, our outflanking bonus. Doggo did a critical miss. Good job, Doggo. Again, I'm here, but I'm going to pass my turn, or delay my turn. So that Doggo can come over here. Be in the range of threatening this prick.
Don't hold back!
There it is. That had to be it because the troll was so damn big. We're close enough to the troll and to each other. What the hell just happened? Did we spawn another troll? I think we spawned another troll underground. Anyway, we're done with the video now anyway. The point was, though, the tandem trip is showing that you get 2 rolls, and it really is the better of the 2. It just happened to be that the second roll was the best. If roll number 1 was the 19 and this was an 8, it would be 19 over here, underlined and bolded. So again, that's why you want a tandem trip. Again, you have it, Doggo has it, and again, on smallish, normal size, I should say, targets, it's a nice 1-2 combo for both of you. It's more likely that your trips are going to land, and especially with Doggo, since his trip ability is subpar compared to yours, because if you look at your, where's it under, martial combat maneuver for me is at, so for her's 35, Doggo's 24, and I'm at 32, so I'm definitely better than Doggo. So him having the extra attack, extra chance to land that trip maneuver, and the fact that he does a trip maneuver on both of his bites, if both land, of course, is really, really appealing. You definitely want to have something though that buffs his ability to attack. So again, Blade Tutor was nice, Amulet of Mighty Fist was nice, Good Hope was nice. I'm sure there's another spell or two that we're not thinking about, like Divine Favor could have been added, as I just showed you earlier. Again, stuff that you would use to buff up Doggo to help him just maul some shit. But with that, I think that covers the Paladins pretty well. for those of you that was looking for the pure Paladin, that's what I got for you. With that, though, my name is Brother Mean. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think.